Julie. Thank you. Okay, it's call to order. Everyone's here, but they may hear about Sean.
She is on her way.
Is
She
she?
called me and I
Okay.
told her where we were and she'll be 5 minutes late.
Great.
Okay.
We have a quorum and plus everybody is here. Need a motion to approve the agenda from the 17th.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any comments on it? Okay, okay. Public comments within the jurisdiction on the task force. Is there anybody out there, Julie?
Nope, just me.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Ian?
Here to listen.
Okay. Okay, consideration for the minutes of the May 17th.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
All in
Oh, yeah,
favor?
that kind of was the first one,
Yeah, I
wasn't
missed.
it?
Okay,
Well, the first thing you asked.
Okay, I
to
didn't do
approve-
it, approve the
You
agenda.
missed,
That's
you
why.
misspoke, just,
Approve the
yeah,
agenda.
that's right, that's
it,
correct,
Okay.
right.
So we already did the minutes of the meeting. That's good. So now I'll move back to
Good
the
idea.
approve the agenda.
I,
Did we have a first and second on that?
yeah.
Did we?
Yep.
Didn't we?
Second. Yeah.
Okay. we
That
did
was
not.
right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
and I
okay.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the agenda, it was the 17th. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign or sign. Okay, thank you. Thanks for working with me. Communications chaired by task force members. Anybody have anything?
I have a question. I know we're gonna be looking at the draft.
Mhm.
But it doesn't say in here that we're going to try to approve it. Are we gonna try to do that today?
Discussion and vote.
Oh, I didn't see the
Yeah.
slash
Yeah,
vote. Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
Okay, nope, okay. I did not see the slash vote. I saw everything else. Okay, oh, no problem.
So sorry. Okay, I had something from Jacob on the structure. They had a meeting on the 17th. Unfortunately, I could not make that meeting. It was an interesting meeting, I hear, but I don't know what all, I see what's on the agenda. They were developing 3 different what ifs that they were thinking of presenting to JPS. One was on, let's see, there are 3 options they were presenting. One was a total of 9 standing committees. Another one was for 6 standing committees and then for 5 working committees, 4 or 5 working groups. And I don't know if that was ever finalized. I heard they had a problem with, they wanted to go into closed session and couldn't do it. So,
There was no basis. I wasn't,
Yeah.
as you know, I was on
yeah.
vacation. And there was an agenda that went out and there was a reference to the closed session,
Mhm.
but there was really no basis for that.
Okay.
So they needed to amend the agenda. They amended the agenda.
Oh, okay.
And I gather they met.
Mhm.
And I know Supervisor Sloan had been in touch with Kathy Shearer and I think Melanie, who's our paralegal. But I know that it is not going on the judiciary agenda because judiciary is meeting on Monday and there is no way they got anything done in terms of a resolution by that point in time. And I haven't even looked at it, although I know
Mhm.
Supervisor Sloan had put together some of these options. So I need to basically look at that.
Yeah, I wonder, I hope they're gonna be at least a chance to have a look at it anyway.
Well, they'll look, they're not gonna do it on Monday. They'll do it in July, I would assume,
Oh, okay. All right.
because they didn't have anything, they didn't have a draft resolution, I think,
No,
Right, the agenda's already posted
for judiciary, and it doesn't have
we're
that.
on it,
yeah,
but they're not.
okay. Okay, that's all I had on that.
Why are you, why are you,
The resolution.
Resolution moving forward.
If we vote and we move it forward.
okay, and we need to talk, okay, we'll talk about that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, item number 6, discuss the results of the county study. I think everybody has one of those. Looks
You need
like
I got one not colored though.
this. Thank you.
Oh, that's, oh,
Like
sorry.
this.
Did we get that?
Oh,
Could we,
I don't
do we
have
have an
a
extra
copy
copy?
of
Yeah,
it. I
it's-
saw it last week,
Yeah.
but I didn't get a copy of
Oh,
it.
Just
okay.
like
There's one
colored.
for-
Yeah, this is new, so you probably don't have.
Oh, oh, okay. Son of a-
We can share.
Send it.
You got one right there.
Oh.
Yeah,
This is the one I sent it
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
you
yeah,
yesterday.
I got it.
Oh, it'll be illegal attachment.
Was that posted on?
That's the same thing, yeah.
No.
Oh, do you haven't?
Do you want me
Okay.
to send it to you?
There it is.
I don't
I
need it,
got
as long
one.
as Mary Ann has
I
one.
just got one now.
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, this is very interesting. Very interesting. Julie and her crew did this, put this together. Thank you very much. Make the calls to the ones that didn't respond. And this is very interesting. We have the chairman's salary, the vice chairman, supervisor salary, and the per diems.
Why are some yellow?
Those are the ones, I'm sorry, Jim, the ones are in yellow are the ones that responded.
So if they didn't respond, we just took numbers from where?
Sue had actually reached out to the county clerks before she left.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a lot of, if the numbers are in there, those are the responses that Sue got back. But the actual clerk never called me or emailed me back to confirm those numbers.
Okay.
But the yellow says it was
The yellow
confirmed to
was
you.
confirmed to me.
Thanks for doing that, Julie.
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions about it? There's also a page in there for the citizens. Yeah, with the budget. That was an interesting page, the budget versus what actually happened in the years. Budget you can see for 2023 for supervisors, we have it 125,000. And I think, I believe it was 100,000. Spent so far.
Question.
Yes.
Do we know are any of these self?
Didn't,
Self-organizing.
Are any of these ones, because that came up a couple times, so much, but I didn't know. Because I,
Odds are they are.
well, I would
because
think so, because
52 out of 72 counties.
Yeah,
you really can't go salary without doing that, right?
no, you can do
You
it.
can, but you have
do
to
it.
have 2/3 vote at budget
Yeah.
time.
Okay, that's what they talked about,
Mhm.
if we left it the same, we can do that, but, right, okay.
Anybody have anything else you'd like to discuss?
Right here.
Yes.
Thanks, Chairman. So according to another chart that we've received a lot of different ones, of course, and they are, I would say, it seems to me like I marked the ones that I thought were self-organizing, which Brown, Dane, Door, Kenosha, at a quick glance, Marathon, and Allegheny for starters.
Which ones were
I'm
they?
sorry, which ones did you, because I actually have the list right
Okay,
now. so which-
okay.
I have the list right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, this was, it said updated as of 3/4/22, so it said, it doesn't have Brown, it has
Okay,
It has Dane. It has. Doesn't have Fond du Lac. It has. It has Kenosha. La Crosse. Marathon. Ozaki. Racine. St. Croix. Sheboygan. Walworth. Washington. Waukesha. And Winnebago, based on what the board did.
Did you say Fond du Lac? I thought they were.
No, that
There was
was
an issue about that. They were,
Okay.
Right.
during the discussion, remember, they talked about what about surrounding communities? So Allegheny wasn't referenced in this list, but there was also, didn't they sent me something saying, and there's something that had to be added. Hold on. Oh, Washburn should be added to the list.
Yeah, I have the 20 that are not.
Okay, this
Oh,
is
what are
Fond
the,
du
yeah,
Lac.
what are the 20 that are not? Do you need it? You don't need that? No, you don't need it.
No.
Okay.
maybe later. Not today. maybe.
Okay.
Any other questions? Ralph, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious because again, thinking about the questions that are gonna come up to us. Is it, did we check that? How many? I'm at 52 out of what, 70? I
Two.
mean,
Actually, we're
72,
53
53.
because of us.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot, but I was just curious if that's why they went to or did not. And then the last thing I would ask is on Fond du Lac, because that was a question about, did we check on Fond du Lac? Why did they not, or did I not go, so.
Fond du Lac, Outagamie, what did I just, there was talking about the ones surrounding
Right,
us.
that's what he said.
Fond du Lac, do you remember?
Outagamie, Washera,
Outagamie. No, Shara, and Brown
and
or not. So that would probably be a good thing to find out why they didn't go.
Well, we've already done that. though.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
okay, I didn't
We've
know.
already
Okay.
approved that.
Okay, so I did have.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, I received this from somebody on the committee. And it didn't say what one it was, but it says 3,000 per diem, so it sounds like Fond du Lac. 15,000 for chair county board, so I have. But that doesn't address what we're talking about right now, I guess, so,
Yeah, supervisors 3,000. Fond du Lac.
okay, so
Yeah.
might be Fond du Lac, anyway, doesn't matter.
Any other points? Okay. From that one. 7, this is a big one here. Discussion vote on new ordinance to change compensation plans for, and there's a listing of county board supervisors, committee chairs and vice chairs, board chair, and citizen members. That's weird.
Did you see that? Yeah, probably.
I started looking at it and I have
Okay.
some
That was
concerns.
good information that was sent to
Okay.
us about.
But
the
I
price,
can,
you know,
I think Tori just gave
how
it
much
to
that
me.
would cost.
Thank you.
So it's not an extreme amount. I thought it was gonna be quite a bit more, but I think what
Sure.
was the average,
Change it from-
12,000?
For us.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Supervisors, no.
include the fact that now we,
Oh, you mean for the work that the,
for
County board.
non-supervisory pay.
yeah.
And, but that doesn't come into account that we passed,
I don't know if that's
that-
part of the budget, our budget. For the citizens.
well, we had to pass it.
Can I ask, it is part of the
It is.
citizens? Is part of
We have to
the,
pay them, it comes out about.
Yeah,
is it, okay.
Yeah,
All right, then it's not a line item within that, the supervisors pay, okay,
because we had to approve it.
yeah, okay.
You
Thank
know,
you.
Tom, do most of them take that, or like, I didn't see any like for health services, health, they, citizens take it there or not? I mean,
Some do, once they seem like they know about it, they take it.
okay,
Right.
the list we got here didn't show any of them taking anything. The vast majority of them aren't listed, all we have is AppleCap and
And we don't know what the full effect, it's obviously gonna go up, because we just approved that measure where everybody who sits on any commission, right? Or task force that's not a supervisor is eligible.
Well, there were certain ones like this committee would get it, ARPA would get it, different ones like that. So it wasn't everybody, but certain ones that were great.
Non-citizens.
Supervisor Bender made the motion, if I remember right, and then it was seconded and passed, right, to pay everyone that's doing anything.
we had like the library board or committee. Some were taking it, some weren't, and they were never approved. They just submitted it and got paid. It didn't specify in our rules that they got paid,
Mhm.
but they turned it in and got paid, and under past practice, I would assume they had done it for years. How do you stop it without,
Once it starts, yeah.
yeah, once you pay them and it goes on for years, it's kind of past practice that.
Okay.
What was the price? I can't remember. Was it like 12,000 so far this year?
Speaking on that, I don't, I just gave mine away.
On the AppleCap, it is 7,600 for 2023, and no 524 and 23. Last year it was 13,400, so I would say it's about,
So what is that number again, the citizens, the solid?
last year it was 13,400. Right now, as of 524, it's 7,600.
Whoa, so that's,
So our, what we have paid so far is, I think, 102,000.
So it's
Two
gonna
is
probably hit,
supervisors.
it's probably gonna hit 20,000.
No, yeah, 20,000.
It'll easily hit 20,000 this year for
And our
per
budget
diems,
is 125,000.
for all of us.
Yeah. for
I'm just
citizens
talking about
and-
non-citizens,
yeah, Citizens and
Oh.
supervisors.
not non-citizens, I'm
Excuse me,
sorry.
Does that include the
Oh,
125 budget? Does that include
Okay.
your salary and the vice chair salary?
That's what you
And-
mean.
Okay,
Anything that come- Excuse me, anything that comes through
okay,
the boards.
all right.
And travel and conferences and seminars?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, you mean non-citizens, or no,
No,
sorry,
no,
why
just-
why do I keep saying that, non-supervisors?
No, supervisors.
Okay.
I was asking.
Mhm.
The 125 covers supervisors, right?
I'm not sure. Does it
I'm
impact
trying to look.
IRS
Yeah,
mileage?
right
Does
there.
125 include the mileage?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's-
And,
There were
and
no
No, there's a
non-
separate line for travel.
and
Because there's a
non-supervisors,
separate line for travel, but I
and
also think,
non-supervisors,
I'm sorry, I think there's a separate line for citizen members too, I think.
So the budget's 125 and
You've got a lot of them.
Okay.
Oh, Let's keep that open.
Okay, all right, getting on to it. This document, everybody should have a copy of this document. This is the ordinance that we're discussing. Everybody have that? You need one?
Yeah, one. The next one.
Okay, one good.
Thank you.
I do, because I have some suggestions.
I have it
Okay,
on my
that's good. This
computer,
is the
so
time, then.
I have it on my computer, so.
Oh,
So does he need one?
oh, who- you need one,
I
yeah.
don't know, I'm
gotta
sorry.
find
She
it.
she did one. He
I-
just had
here's
one last
extras.
time. That was it.
Oh.
Shanna, do you
So-
need one?
I do. But I have my
That's-
iPad if I need to.
Anybody else need one? This is.
These are all extras.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'll take
Oh.
one then.
Oh. there you go.
There you go.
You're happy to use a paper
Anybody else?
copy, it's printed already instead of.
Yeah.
a little thing.
I know, it makes it
I'm all
easier.
set.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Actually, I'll
Oh,
take
I
one
guess
if
we'll
it's
come.
red.
Yeah, that.
I'll take one since I gave my copy away.
That went fast.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Karina, do you need one?
No, that's-
That we. it was
You're
part of the
set,
packet
okay.
I got
anyway.
mine, but it's not red like
Alright.
this. This one's not the red, so no.
Everybody has a copy. Establish
Oh, yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Nope. Okay. So that's what we're here to discuss on that. And there's four parts to this: the county board of supervisors, committee chairs and vice chairs, board chair and vice chair, and the citizen members. Covered in this document. Whether or not we continue with all four, or we take it down to one or two of these bullet points, that has to be determined. I see Marianne is nodding her head like, okay, there's something else here. Be aware of.
A couple of things. If you want to talk and I talk after you, or if you want me to give you my initial thoughts, because as you know, I was on vacation, so I
Mhm.
quickly looked at it, and I know Tori and Kathy were working hard on it and
Yes.
based it on the original code,
Mhm.
but there are some things that I believe need to be tweaked,
Okay,
okay? Shall I start? or
yes,
do you-
that would be good.
Okay.
I think it's
All right.
appropriate.
So if we go to line 21, which basically talks about the authority for the code, okay? Attorney Scher and paralegal Kinderman were correct when they were talking about following what is in the code. However, specifically when they talk about 5910 3F through H, all right? But if you go to the actual statute, 5910 3F talks about compensation and supervisors being paid per diem by the county. all
And is
right?
that on here?
Yeah, if you go to line
21.
21, it talks about, do you see 5910 3F?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, okay, we can say that's part of the basis. 59 3G, 5910 3G talks about mileage, that's fine. 5910 3H talks about limitation on compensation, that being in counties with a population of at least 100,000, but less than 50,000, they can be paid for 50 days. And it references through H. However, it should continue because L, okay, so not through H, but L talks about alternative compensation, namely salaries, okay? So we need to include that as
Would
a
we do
basis.
H plus L or we do H through, I mean,
Yeah.
F through, because it doesn't include
No.
I, J, K?
It should be, as I'm thinking, as opposed to F through H, you should do at least through L. So just switch the H to the L. However, this is what the task force needs to know. J, 5910, 3J,
Right.
and Supervisor Skellinger is the opportunity to be next to it, so you can see it. Talks about supplementary compensation. And it says the board, in establishing an annual salary, may enact an ordinance for a per diem for all committee meetings attended in excess of 40 committee and board meetings. So I know the whole point was to get rid of per diem, but the task force needs to know that in the statute, even if you go salary, there is a provision that says if you go to 40, more than 4, in excess of 40 committee and board meetings, you can add a per diem. And I don't know if you guys had addressed that or not, but I wanted to point that out to you.
No, I don't
So-
think we have.
No, we have, because we just assumed that the salary would take that
Yeah.
out, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I did not realize that.
So that's
in
something you need to
excess of
cons-
40.
In excess of 40. And then the question is, how many people attend in excess of 40 committee meetings and board meetings? Not many.
But this is, sorry, this,
Okay.
that, we'd have to enact a separate ordinance, right? So we'd say like, here's an ordinance that says,
No, you could do that by amending
oh,
Yes.
okay,
the statutory, yeah,
But
as
it's
opposed to
not
just saying, you know.
it's not required.
No, it's
Right,
what, it's
so-
up to you as to how
So
you
we
want
don't
to do
have to
this.
say, we could say, our recommendation could be just the salary.
Yeah, And
no
forego
excess
J.
member-
Right.
Or excess meetings.
Right.
No matter what the Wisconsin statute says.
yeah, because you're not adopting J. If you decide not to adopt J. J says the board in establishing an annual salary may, not must, may enact an ordinance for a per diem for all committee meetings attended in excess of 40 committee and board meetings. So I certainly think the way it is worded right now on line 22, you should go through I, not H.
L or I?
It's I.
Oh,
It goes
that was L.
H-I-J.
L Before.
I'm sorry, I,
I,
it's
okay.
I. But
And again, what was I? I'm sorry. I didn't-
I is alternative compensation.
What the-
As an alternative method of compensation in counties having a population of less than 500,000, which is us, right? Including those containing only one town, the board may at its annual meeting by a 2/3 vote of the members entitled to a seat, fix the compensation of the supervisors to be next elected at an annual salary for all services for the county, including all committee services, except the per diem allowance for services acquiring rights of way, as set forth in 8409. The board may in like manner allow additional salary for members of the highway committee and for the chairperson of the board. In addition to the salary, supervisors shall receive mileage as provided in paragraph G for each day's attendance at board meetings or for attendance at not to exceed 2 committee meetings in any one day. I know that's a mouthful. Do you want me to copy it so you guys can see that? No.
Yes, yes.
Okay, can she go to your?
Mhm.
Can you go and just make them a copy of this page? Yeah, this was actually in the self-organized packet, but I don't, so we can, but we'll make a copy of this page. Okay?
So,
We have this.
so L, you looked at it at a lowercase I and thought that was an L. So it's not L. Forget about L, correct?
Yeah, I mean, initially I look, it has L, but you'll see how it looks in the. in
Okay,
the statute.
but actually what it was a lowercase I.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is what the statute says. Unfortunately, the package that the Wisconsin Counties Association put together had L. It should have been I.
Okay,
And I can show it to you if you want. Here is the actual statute.
we believe you.
So we would be eliminating L then. and also-
There's no L.
There was no L.
There is no L.
There's I.
But instead of F through H, it's now F through I.
This is supplementary. So here, let me show you this, even though you probably so see, this is the statute. This has I.
This isn't in here, correct?
No, but we haven't
No,
talked
it's-
about that. That's another issue.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
And here's the supplementary, the board in establishing and acting or providing for per diem for attended in excess. Okay, see, that's the J.
Mhm.
Now, I gotta go around, just give me a minute,
Yeah,
because, and they're making copies, just so you see.
so.
This is the statute. I is the alternative compensation, and J is the supplementary,
Obviously, just.
okay? I should have had to make a copy of this, this would have been better for you. So here. This is the board and the enacted provided for per diem in excess of 40, and then this is the alternative, which is allowing the salary.
Okay.
And avoid.
You
Did you make this up?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So this is the alternative, right? Which talks about opting to do a salary, okay? This is the supplementary, which talks about an annual salary and acting ordinance providing for per diem in excess of the 40 meetings.
Okay, so once in the course of a year, you get to 40 meetings,
If you opt to
Yeah.
do that,
okay, then it goes,
if
okay,
this task force opts, if the board opts to do it, then there could be more pay
okay.
Or
than
we
a
just-
salary. Or you say, no, I don't want to include the J.
Or we just leave it alone, and if anybody goes over 40, they just happen to get, they just get special treatment.
Well, we,
You could do that too, though.
Thank you.
You know what?
Yeah.
Because very few people go over 40, just
Well, that's
saying.
what.
but then you'd
Doesn't
have to.
he
make an
favor-
ordinance for
But
it.
you know what, then they would have to keep track of that and go through all
They're trying
that
to get
and
you out of
that kind
track.
of,
I agree.
you know,
Simpler
that
the
makes
better.
sense. We're trying to do this so that it's not as
Thanks.
cumbersome on your job.
So there is no opportunity for per diem, right? Sorry. I mean, as a discussion point,
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
it would be nice not to. Yeah, so the reason we're looking at this is to keep it simple.
Yes.
That's right.
Did we change anything else on that?
No, they're talking, and they haven't decided whether it's gonna be I or J. They have to still talk about that. Okay, now you will see what I just, there it is, Supervisor Sesteri, in that note to the right, that packet.
Right here?
Yeah, that is what I just had her copy. If you go to the third page, or maybe it's the second page,
Mhm.
you'll see the counties association referenced L. They did
Turn
not
around,
reference
turn it.
I.
Turn it.
Maybe it's that.
Oh, yeah. I
Sorry.
see
So it
what
goes
you
from
mean.
H
Yeah,
to
right
L.
there. I say
It should
L.
be
They mistyped
I.
it, it should be I.
Oh, okay.
It should be
All right.
I.
Nice catch.
Oh,
Nice
you
catch.
could call them out on that.
Well, probably they typed in I and automatically autocorrect
probably
made
did.
it, made it
It might have.
I.
Yeah.
It might have.
No problem.
But right now,
Yeah, it's
Macrina is gonna give you a copy of the actual statute that has the correct site. Now, there's another thing that you folks need to consider, and
Wait,
this,
do you know what you're saying? John?
I hope I'm not, well, I just wanted to reference Autogamey's structure, and it's kind of one of those things where they've got the per diem, or they've got the salary, but then they have this extra.
they have
thing.
the per diem.
So do you mind if I mention that just for, is that gonna
Yeah.
clog the arteries here? Clog the arteries, okay, so here, supervisor shall receive an annual salary of 57.23 or 57.80 as compensation for their attendance for all board meetings, standing committee meetings, seminars, conventions. For any meetings attended beyond those described above, a supervisor is eligible to receive $25 per meeting at a maximum of 25 a day, provided one of the following apply. The meeting is that of a committee or board to which the supervisor has been appointed or confirmed by the chair, et cetera. So, and then it just says vice chair gets 7,200 and the chair gets 15,000. So I'm just saying that that is something that I noted. Again, that seems a little complicated for a clerk. But
Yeah.
We just need
that-
to
that's
go around.
kind of defeating the
Thank you.
purpose of, we wanted to take a lot of the clerks' time to spend.
okay, so what we're looking at now is just, and I do agree.
And that's the reason for it, and not that it can't be changed.
Yeah, so I would say that seems complicated to
If
me.
you look at this document, if you look at the salary,
Yeah.
if it's a low salary, they're getting the per diem. If it's a high salary, they're not getting the per diem.
Interesting.
I know,
So
yeah.
they're figuring the per diem in the salary. So I would rather have us figure the per diem into the salary. Like Allegheny County gets 5,800 plus $30. but it has to be a posted meeting, and it has to be a meeting you're assigned to go to.
Right.
Like when they go through a ribbon cutting or just to a meeting because of their interest, they don't get paid for it. They have to be assigned to that committee and then they get $30 for it. But most of them that have a higher salary, they don't have a per diem.
Mhm.
And that eliminates that, then all you have to deal with is the mileage.
Okay,
I make it simple.
that was all.
No,
Yeah.
well, and that's another point. I don't know if we have actual copies of these various counties' codes to see the language they used. That would be pretty interesting. I mean, obviously Supervisor Sestera got one from Allegheny, but what about?
You can get those online. I actually got those.
What about what?
I mean, we could have, I mean, any of these that are listed here. You could look at them, yeah.
Right now.
It takes a while to find them, but they're all online.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
I've got Door County. Yeah.
But if the committee, this task force decided that, you know, you wanted to go forward with the salary plus the per diem in excess of 40, I mean, I don't know what you guys, but if you do that, then we're gonna have to tweak this again, because any reference to per diem came out, it might be included. There's another piece you folks need to remember. So this is the code, right?
Should we just go ahead and see what the feeling is on this task force at this point so that we know what we can just X out and then go forward? Wouldn't that make it more simpler?
Yeah, but there's another piece that needs to be
I'd rather
addressed.
hear what it is.
And the
We
other
did that-
piece-
Excuse me, we had a concession or consensus last meeting.
Oh,
And
okay,
The
okay.
whole board said, yes, we wanted to go just salary.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
So we had consensus, we didn't vote on anything, wasn't a vote,
sure.
so.
Okay.
But if the what ifs are what I'm concerned with, so
Right.
keep going.
So there's just one other piece. So as you know, there's the code, right? But you also have county board rules, and the rules address per diems. So this cannot stand alone. You're gonna also need a resolution to revamp the rules. And I made copies, because you will see, and you can just send them around. I made extra, so there is a whole section on per diem, okay? And under powers of the chair and vice chair, there is reference to the fact that the chair shall receive 5,000 per year plus per diem. The
Okay,
vice
that
chair
is-
shall receive 1,500 plus per diem. So right here, you can start. So we need to address that too, because we
okay,
can't
yeah.
have two inconsistencies. We've got the code and then we've got the rules, but the rules conflict with the code. So I'm sorry I'm making it more difficult, but I just.
No, that's
No.
better now.
Better now than
This
later.
is dotting our i's and crossing our t's.
Yeah.
Eyes, not I.
Lowercase I.
Sorry, I had to. I went there. But I
So-
mean, this is why
Why
you make the big bucks.
Well, if I could ask a question, so your suggestion is like, we would need to pass an ordinance and a companion resolution to change the rules.
Mhm.
We can't do it
Okay.
together. Like
No,
one
it has to be,
document?
no, because the ordinance is for the code. The resolution is for the rules.
And those, and in your recommendation, would we want to like do the ordinance and have the resolution for the rules follow from the ordinance?
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
assume that's
okay.
what you're gonna,
So
but I
we
would
could-
also suggest they're presented at the same time.
So you're talking about the order of things?
Yeah, but the rules
And-
are dependent on the code. And so you folks have to decide what you want in the code. And then we can fashion legislation for the rules.
Then that was my last question is if we were to get an acceptable ordinance voted on today, is
Mhm.
that enough for you to be able to take that and create the right rule changes, resolution to change the rules?
Mhm.
Or is there any further action that this task force would need to recommend?
No.
We would have to
Yeah.
vote on it.
Yeah, you would have to vote on,
We can't
The
vote on-
resolution?
well, you don't have the resolution to vote on. You need to
No.
vote on the ordinance, right? Because you have, I mean, we're all talking conceptually,
Mhm.
right?
Right,
At least for
yeah.
the resolution.
Yeah.
So we need something in writing. And we don't have that right now for the resolution.
Okay.
We do have something in writing for the ordinance. And so the draft ordinance.
Yes.
And yes, this should go to judiciary.
I was gonna ask that.
It should
next.
definitely go to judiciary,
Okay.
but so should the resolution.
Yes,
Right.
but I'm feeling that we should do them both at the same time.
I agree with you.
So we should go
But my only question was, is there anything that's gonna be in the resolution that's sort of discretionary from the ordinance? Because if we pass an ordinance and you create a resolution based on the directive in the ordinance, then you could have the two artifacts together
Mhm.
to take to judiciary. And perhaps this body doesn't need to look at the resolution if it's just straight derived from the ordinance.
I
You
would.
don't feel comfortable with that? Okay.
Mm-mm.
This ordinance that you
That's
sent
fine.
us, is this about what you are looking for?
It's an
With-
amendment to the ordinance, correct?
That's an amendment
Amendment
to
to-
the
yeah,
ordinance,
we
but
talked
I'm
about all the per
looking
diem.
at the rules and your rules. And I'm trying to find it, under 20. Talk about per diem mileage and expenses. So depending on what the ordinance, how you make changes, then we can fashion something and say, resolution, whatever. Per 20.0, it addresses per diem mileage and expenses, okay? It is recommended that the current version be modified to this version, and then this version would essentially mirror what the ordinance had. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Those are the only two things then that we have to do, would be the chairman's and then 20.
That's
Is
right.
that
You
right?
have to
Just
deal
those
with the
two.
code
Okay.
and you've got to deal with the rule 20 and also, because for the vice chair and chair, there's one reference to per diem where I just had it. Where is that?
5.5,
Line 5,
Powers of,
page 31.
yeah, that's it. Chair and vice chair, yeah,
So
because
just
there's
those two.
reference to per diem, but so has this task force decided they don't want per diems, they just want salary, straight salaries? Okay,
And mileage.
yeah, that's a
Because we
separate,
have
that's a
to. And a
separate,
bump, of course, for.
the chair and vice
Yeah.
chair, whatever. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't get into, I mean, I just tell you what the legal ramifications, I don't, you guys make the
So
decision.
we probably aren't ready for this until July. For the July JPS.
Yeah, you cannot get to June JPS because the
They-
deadline was, I mean, the
Okay,
agenda's
you can do
already
it.
out and the deadline was a week ago.
Friday, yeah. last
It was a
Friday.
Friday.
Okay,
I know it's,
on this,
So we need to pull that because we're not ready.
yeah,
We need to do both at the same time.
is this already on the judiciary?
Yeah,
they had just an early draft of this document, just to add it to the JPS agenda.
Okay, but JPS can always pull that off of their agenda.
Yeah, because it never made it through committee.
I just think it would be cleaner
Mhm.
if you do an ordinance and resolution addressing the same issues at the same time.
I think so too,
Mhm.
yeah, because they are two different issues there.
yeah, because rehashing all this 2 weeks, 2 meetings in a row does not sound like a pleasurable event at the board.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's the other thing. It would, if you, I mean, if it went to judiciary on Monday, again, I just got back from, but if it's on the agenda, and then it would go to board in June, and then you've got to go back to judiciary in July for the rules, and then you've got to go back to the board in July for,
Not enjoyable for.
No.
board.
Not
Uh-uh.
good. Not good.
How do you go about pulling things from JPS?
well,
I just call Brian.
yeah.
They just say pull it?
It's in his text right now.
Who was the author? Who was the author of this? I mean, who's,
per diem.
this was,
I started the ball.
well,
rolling
but
on
it says it was submitted by
It went
the
from
Ad
one
Hoc
page.
Task Force
Yeah.
Committee.
It went
So
from
you would
one
be the
page.
one as
Yeah.
chair
I
who would
started
have
it
to
going,
call
Yes,
Supervisor Stafford and say, we want it pulled, we need to have more work done.
yes, I will do that.
But if it was, if Supervisor Ellenberger was also the author of it, then she could do it. But I don't see her name on this.
No, we didn't put names on. it.
Okay,
We just put
okay, the
committee.
whole
The
task force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt better about that. Question from, on the same regard. We were just starting to go towards the chairman and the vice chairman.
Yeah.
I have it's resolution 191-022-023, establishing an ad hoc task force
Mhm.
on per diem structure. I don't see anywhere in here that says anything about the chairman and vice chairman. Are we on shaky grounds by discussing that?
No, because it's referencing that they are entitled to per diems and you're looking at, so actually, can I look at that?
Yes, sure.
If I-
This would be everywhere.
It's a good
I
idea.
keep reading it, rereading it.
Establishing it on the per diem structure,
Yeah, actually.
oh, well, of the Winnebago
Winnebago
County Board of Supervisors. But the chair and the vice chair are supervisors, right?
So they're
Mhm.
under the same.
Let me just, has been discussed.
They had to get really busy like us.
It's on two pages.
Will include per diem
Can I ask a
structures.
question while she's reviewing?
I just. Can you hold it, please? I can only put so much in
These
here.
will include per diem structures of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Okay, based on my interpretation, this would include the chair and vice chair because they're part of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. Report its findings for the per diems. This will consist of 7 appointed and will report its findings for consideration in September 2023.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's why we're freaking out.
Report to the county board in October 20. So you're okay. If it's
With
July-
JPS first and then.
Yeah. This task force will automatically disband on November 1st, 2023. Yeah. So yes, I think
Okay.
you are on fine ground in terms of addressing the per diems, touching on the county board chair and the county board vice chair.
One other question now, the citizens.
That doesn't talk about citizens.
Not that I can. It is per diem.
Pay out of our per diem bucket, you know what I mean? We just found out. It's all in one bucket.
I'm sorry, I can just tell you, I have the budget open. It was 125 for the elected officials, which would be county board, and then it's 23,000 for the citizen per diems. Now, we don't have to track the meetings like that, they can only go up to 30. We don't have to track that for the citizen members. So then it would be just, I don't want to say just a decision whether you're going to pay them or not.
Yea or nay?
But it's not, like you said, it's not in part of that. If it's not part of that resolution, does it have to be
I
another?
don't wanna start striking things out of the rules and everything else, and all of a sudden, oh, we're not able to do that with the citizens.
When they got this stuff, what, she said 23,000.
23,000.
So
Part
was-
of what we're doing here.
But
So
would
right
what we
now-
Do automatically take it away from them.
So this one was struck or not?
Unless we have something else in mind.
This is the current way this is written.
Right, and was that struck? It was. Non-super,
Well, this just changed to put, who are not acting within the scope.
so it does
Or
say,
off. There was like one word that changed. Cause this was from, the recodification language.
Well, the current code-
Changing chairman to chairpersons and everything. You want to applicable. You have to be sure we're not up against that.
the current code
Yeah.
says non-supervisors who are duly appointed to serve on the following committees, boards, and commissions who are not acting within the scope of their employment or office in so doing shall be eligible for the same per diem payments and expense reimbursements as supervisors. And the changes.
The change is to not define. Because
Yeah.
it was redefined up there, so it's just gonna be the 3 lines.
The change is limiting, is taking out the committees, boards, and commissions, because my recollection was some people were being paid and other people were not. So what you wanted to have was just a general statement, which said, which Tori and Kathy wrote, non-supervisors who are duly appointed to serve on committees, boards, commissions, who are not acting within the scope of their employment or office in so doing, shall be eligible for a per diem payment and expense reimbursements, which treats everybody the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's what they
right.
crafted.
Now, when we go to salary, we just changed it.
So yeah, this was, because this says the same per diem payment, so this changed it to a per diem payment and expense reimbursement, so whatever you decide. We would put that number in there once it's decided on, and we would just take out the same as supervisors.
So what are you, you would say non-supervisors who were duly appointed, who are not acting within scope of employment shall be eligible for a certain amount of
dollar
money?
amount per diem payment and expense reimbursement, so
Okay.
$25 per meeting, whatever you decide that is.
Alright.
Is what
Is everybody-
Kathy and I had come up with. If
Okay.
if you don't like that, that's
No, no, I
fine.
mean,
Yes,
this
I'm
is,
not.
they have to decide this.
Okay, that's okay. Got it. I get you. Toby,
I don't mean to be so.
is there a general agreement on that? That we do set aside as for the citizens, pay per diem, small per diem or not?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
you got yeses, all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you got a no,
No, I'm a no.
no.
You know what?
Okay, Shannon's first.
Well, I would just say that because we're looking at the going from a per diem to a salary, that really is, something that's, that would cause that to be a problem. And it would need to be looked at and looked at separately. Because again, we're looking at trying to make things as simple as possible. And that whole citizens thing, I know that we had a good discussion about that. I understand the aspects of it. But I just think that that's a separate, in my opinion, it would need to be looked at separately all over again. Because again, we're looking at salary. We'd obviously not be paying them a salary. So that's my reaction to that.
My opinion is like when I was on the Diversity Affairs Commission, I didn't take my per diem because the citizens didn't get it. I didn't feel I was entitled to that. They were donating the same amount of time as I was. They were doing the same research as I was doing. So what makes me better than them? Why should I get $50? I got 50 signatures? I don't think so.
Supervisors are very different than a citizen, though. They really are. They do have different, responsibilities
And accountability.
and accountability as well. So I do see that there's a difference. I hear what you're saying with that, but I see,
But you're the advocate when it comes to the board business.
Right, I would
You
not,
are the
I would go
absolute
against
advocate.
not paying the citizens. I think we paid them. We have 23,000. The most we've ever paid the citizens is 13,400. And I think when you go to recruit these people, we have a hard enough time now getting county board members. I mean, one thing really bothers me when a county board member gets on with 5 signatures. I mean, they're too lazy to go out and get 50 signatures, so they wait till there's no candidates and then they run as a write-in. I think a citizen is basically working just as hard sometimes as a county board member. And the ones I worked with, they knew what they were doing. We recruited, like the ARPA Commission, you got people there that have high-end jobs that basically are, donating their time, and their time is worth a lot more than $50. I mean, they ain't making $15 an hour.
so how do we know for sure that it is really, really difficult to get people to serve? I know ARPA took a while to get, because they needed an older, over 50 female in this particular district. So how hard is it to fill these citizen vacancies? I'm just
Diversity Affairs
curious
Commission,
overall.
We never had a full committee. We never could get
Okay,
4 citizens.
okay.
So that's pretty hard when you can't get them.
Is there any other?
I'm on the housing authority and we've never had an issue getting people.
I mean, I don't know if, Clerk, Bart, do you see across the board it's difficult to fill these?
I can't say because our office really, the only thing,
Okay.
That's a John Damo thing.
yeah.
Would,
It's a John
could we
Damo
ask
thing.
Chairman
Yes,
Egan, do you know, is it?
Well, in some cases you do. I don't know where you said about ARPA, you had to have over 50. We didn't have that.
I meant said, I misspoke and I meant Health and Human Services
Okay.
or ADRC.
Right, but like Steve just said there, as far as like on ARPA, we have some very high, I shouldn't say high end, but you got like Ted Galloway, you got the gentleman from the bank, you got people, so we got people that are all different there and $50 to them, they're not doing it for $50, I guarantee you that. I don't even think they'd even take it, but would they take it if they weren't told they could do that? So them 3 would have been picked by John Damo. There's certain ones that I pick and there's certain ones that he picks. So usually on the commission, he will pick them.
Was it difficult to fill those besides the work that's involved?
No, not really. No, I guess not really, depending because most of them are interested in it. But as long as you ask me my personal feelings, if you can get somebody and they're good, and if they're not worth $50 a meeting, they shouldn't, I don't even know why they'd want to go on there.
So you're in favor of reimbursing?
I do, but I'm not part of the, I'm just here to listen.
Yeah, thank you. That's great, but yeah,
So then is the consensus that we would still remain with the $50 or whatever number it is for citizens?
I would be in favor.
Okay.
I just kind of feel like it's outside of why we're here.
Right.
Like, we're here for the supervisor piece
I
and I
agree.
wouldn't
yeah. me
But I don't
too.
wanna, I wanna make
touch,
sure
I
that we're
wouldn't
not,
touch the other thing.
yeah, by, when we go up against this into the rules and to the ordinance, that we're not automatically just shutting the door on that.
Oh, I see what you're
So,
saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess,
so in that case, of what you were saying, that we could still have this in there for the citizens.
And they could say, no, this is improper. I mean, if you don't bring it forward, you're not
Yeah.
gonna have a chance of
Yeah.
even getting it addressed.
They got, again, I miss Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just, again, again, I keep saying it because of a different board member, but all these years this has been going on. And I think you said some people don't even know they're getting paid to be a citizen on there, so they don't ask for it. So once you tell them that they can have it, then all that's gonna change that 2,300 or 23,000 will change, because then they'll know they have it. I'm on other boards too. I don't expect to get paid. I never thought about it. I'm just giving my advice. That's why they asked me to get on that. So, you know, I'm kind of torn on that if we should or shouldn't, but years past, you know, how we never addressed this or never talked about this policy. And if nobody says anything, we won't pay them, or it almost seems like that to me, like you don't say anything, you don't get paid, but, and there's good people that don't want to get paid. So you either address it or you don't do it, you know, because otherwise it seems like we've been doing this a long time and not really addressing it.
There's 3
You know.
people on the county board that don't get paid, maybe none of them should get paid then.
But that's a
People-
different.
3 people don't take their per diem. So
Okay.
if they don't feel they need it, maybe we should just say there should be no per diem for anybody on the county board. We can all volunteer like the citizens. You know, I mean, it's however you want to put it.
We work to
Okay.
be in this position,
Yes.
and I know that you brought up that, some people are lazy and they don't go, I did, and I walked every single door in my
Sure, I did
district.
too. I put 1,000 flyers out the first year.
Yeah, I did, and I only won by 25 votes, and because I worked, and so I know that when I get paid for this job, and I'm doing this job, that I'm giving it my 100%.
I am too.
And just like you, we've talked about this, you know, that's one of the reasons why you enjoy being on this committee in particular, because we've talked about that. But I'm also on the planning committee for the city of Neenah. And this big controversy thing came up just recently. And I, as a voted person for the county, even though as a citizen representative who's never been paid to be on this committee for the planning committee, which is a pretty big deal for the city of Neenah as of recently, I voted against it, listened to my constituents. But everybody else, they're like, yeah, we'll just vote for it, you know, because they don't have that. And that is a big deal. And that is a perfect distinction of why we're elected and then they're not. So there is a big distinction between the two of us. I mean, we have that accountability. I'm listening to my constituents when they tell me, we don't want this. You know what I mean? So, you know, have I had threats over it? Sure I have, but you know, that's just comes with the game, you know, citizens don't have to deal with that.
Right. well, I
They
think-
don't, I mean, they just don't, they don't have to have a police come to their house to make sure that you're okay. You know what I mean? And that's happened multiple times, school board, city planning committee, not this job, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually. But you know what I mean? So
Right,
there
I
is a distinction, and I want to make sure that we understand that there is a distinction with that.
I just think that if we would go that route and not pay them, this probably wouldn't pass. Because there'll be enough people on the county board that think like I think.
I don't think we should touch it.
I don't either.
I think that that's not what
That's
we're
fine.
here for, and that's not
Yeah.
our
I'm fine
preview,
with that.
but that's for somebody else to deal with.
We should just
So
walk away from that.
So we agree on a lot of things, Steve. So,
Because
I
I don't
mean,
wanna-
that's just my personal opinion. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me on that.
I don't, I felt that what Marianne had, or whoever said, that if we don't touch the citizen thing, and they're already piggybacking on how it's written for our remuneration, then if we change ours, then automatically, then the citizens are. And I thought she was just trying to make sure that we knew that while we're working on supervisors, pay, that there's still a distinction, this is this, but however, this is what citizens are being paid. Whereas right now, it's all one thing. We're all getting a per diem.
Right now.
But
it
if we
says it's the
change, if we
same.
change hours, does that automatically then change what citizens are getting if we don't address it specifically?
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
But, and again, looking at your Band-Aid, you're establishing an ad hoc task force committee on per diem structure of Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. There is nothing to say that you can leave paragraph 10 in place, even though I know there's concerns about not everybody being treated equally. And then if it passes here, it passes judiciary, it goes to the county board, there is nothing to suggest that a supervisor could say, I move to amend subparagraph 10 to include the issue of compensation for non-supervisors. I mean, you could do that. That could happen. That's a scenario. The other scenario, as you've just said, is you don't touch non-supervisors.
do we
Because
have sub thing number 10? Where is that?
It's in the draft ordinance.
It's in,
Right below the, where all the red is, the
Oh, I
county
see it.
board.
It's on the
vice
second
chair.
Oh,
So can I ask a question that goes along with that?
Yes.
So- I have a question for,
that's right.
$75
And Supervisor Skellinger just pointed out, the current version, which is in black and is struck,
right.
if you go to line, at the end of line 74 to 75, okay, shall be eligible for the same per diem payments and expense reimbursements as supervisors. So you're gonna have to strike out per diem because the supervisors aren't getting per diems. Right?
I think that's what I was
so
just
the,
saying, right?
so the question I
That's
have
like,
for
that's
you,
what it says in red, per diem, the same.
No, we're looking at what, if they didn't change, if they left it the way it is right now. In other words, they changed everything, but they didn't change 10. Paragraph 10, it would say non-supervisors who are duly appointed to serve on the following committees, boards, and commissions, were not acting within the scope of their employment or office in so doing, shall be eligible for the same per diem payments and expense reimbursements as supervisors.
That's what I just said.
and
That's,
so what, so this is what you're suggesting that we change right away. Even though this is worked into the recodification.
it's gonna be worked into the recodification, but
what.
the problem is, if you want to have a salary and you keep the language, it's not gonna make sense, even though your mandate is
Is
to
what language,
only,
the crossed out language?
the crossed out, shall
Right.
be eligible for the same per diem payments. So if this task force is saying there should only be a salary for supervisors, then it makes no sense the way it's currently
Marianne.
worded.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So,
What
So-
about, when you take out
Supervisors
this,
say As
Wait,
before.
one thing.
Go ahead, Tori, what were you
so
saying?
when we take out, when we.
Are you talking about the suggested language now?
Yeah, well, I mean, these sentences are the exact same. But we struck out the same and changed it to a per diem payment. That just allows
Oh,
the fact for a per diem payment, but doesn't say what it is.
yeah, actually, she fixed it. It's
Mhm.
fixed. and
That's why I
the
kept
red-
saying, look at the red, because that's, we had already kind of addressed that.
So the red is fine,
We're not acting with it
right?
It's the
red
exact same
for
sentence.
a
defines
per
it.
diem payment.
Yeah, it just says a per diem payment. It's not specified and it just
Yeah.
doesn't say the same as
Mhm.
supervisors.
No,
It just
you're
says a
right,
per diem payment.
you're right. So maybe the new language of 10 is okay.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
The red language.
Yes.
Right.
It is
It
sort
looks
of
okay.
okay,
For a pretty.
but line 63 on committee chairperson,
We're not there,
I know, line 63.
you know?
Okay, committee chairperson, solid waste has a committee chairperson who is a citizen. He's been there for 30 years, but very good.
So,
And, well, we're gonna compensate him.
oh,
Committee.
Well, the solid waste,
supervisor
solid waste is a
chairperson.
board though, not a committee.
Hmm?
Solid waste is a board,
Yes.
not a committee.
Okay.
So if this was intended, if committee chairperson was intended to be limited to just committees,
Okay, are there any
that
others?
wouldn't apply.
Are there any?
But if you did intend it to mean committees, commissions, and boards, so if you meant it to include the health board, the solid waste board, then we gotta stick your wicket.
Committees,
Okay.
only commissions or
Okay.
boards can non-supervisory citizens be on.
Oh. okay.
Mhm.
Human
Okay, so
Services
that's okay.
Board has a citizen as the
Right.
chair.
Not a committee, so that makes sense, and I agree with Cody on that one, that was, that's a
Good
good catch,
catch, thank
Cody.
you.
And I think that you can include the red language, the changed language under sub 10, because you were mandated to come up with a per diem structure of Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. And there is interplay in the way this is fashioned between the supervisors and the non-supervisors. So, I mean, it's an interpretation, but I think you can argue that. But you still have to come up with salaries.
Yes, so,
We haven't even gotten to that.
Yeah, we haven't got to that.
well, along with that, line 62 through 65, it's plus, and that's kind of what we want to get away from, isn't it?
Well,
No,
no.
we want.
If we just pick a number out of the $3,000 as a supervisor salary. If they are a committee chairperson, it would be the monthly plus, that would be the plus. So it might be another, I don't know, $50 a month or something like that.
Not a per diem, which is a plus, and it would be automatic, so it wouldn't be like you had to go through and do all this stuff to review it. Does that make sense?
Not really, because, okay, I guess, okay, I understand the fact that if somebody's chairing, then they're going to be getting a per diem basically, or a salary plus additional.
Plus additional, yes.
So that is a per diem, correct?
No,
That's
it's
no.
not per diem, no,
Okay.
no.
So then, and then county board chairperson are, okay, so I understand the committee chairperson by supervisors. But then we're looking at the county board and the vice chair, and if we, the chairman and the vice chairman. And if we're eventually gonna be looking at higher salary possibilities for both of them. Are we gonna be adding every time they have a meeting, they're gonna be, you know what I mean? So that seems a little bit,
No, that's just a monthly.
okay,
So it would just
All
be
right.
like $50 a month total.
okay, I got it. Oh,
So,
that's easy.
so say if it's like
That's easy.
3,500 or I'm gonna keep a round number, 3,000 for your yearly salary or whatever. It would be 3,000 plus, what's $50?
Okay, so it's, we're
12.
not talking about per meeting.
12, but so
Sorry,
12,
I was wrong about that.
yeah,
Thank you. No, I needed.
$600. Sorry, I'm bad at these.
And you know, the other thing you're gonna have to come up with, and Kathy and Tori noted it, since you're deleting a per diem definition, you're gonna have to come up with a per diem payment if you're gonna be referencing a non-supervisor receiving a per diem
Yes.
payment.
Which is, wouldn't that be the red in 75, starting on 75? Or you're talking about an actual number?
Well, under definition, you know, you have is a per diem payment. You know, what is a per diem payment? A stipend or a daily stipend for attending a meeting or something to that effect? Pulling language out of the top of my head.
Which we have right now, right?
It's the same as the supervisor, so it would be the 75 and 50.
For starters, at least.
You could say the same per diem payment and expense reimbursement as before.
Mm,
No.
mm, I don't like before.
No,
Because
I
what was
$50 of
So you
$50.
just want amount right now,
Just
you're
put
suggesting.
$50 a meeting if.
That's what it is now, right? $50 and what, no, what is it?
It's 75 for full days, 50 for a half day, or
Let's just
4
say-
hours or less.
Can we just say $50? I mean, is there a commission that actually goes longer than? 4 hours?
Some members of solid waste or human services or health might go to a committee, or I mean, a conference, that's the word, conference. Which would have a full day.
Or
to it.
you could end up sitting on a committee in the morning and a committee in the night, in which case you wouldn't get paid for twice, but you would get the amount for a full day.
Can we keep it simple to just a 50?
Per meeting, would,
So
or
per,
a
so
day.
what are you suggesting?
Per
Per
day.
diem shall be,
It's
$50 plus
What does
expenses.
that do to the budget?
$50 plus
Look
expenses,
ahead.
okay.
Like that.
plus what, per diem, are you talking about mileage?
Yeah, the expenses being, right, like, whatever they're entitled to.
23,000, I guess.
If they're attending a conference and currently getting 75 a day, and we're gonna move to 50?
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Eventually we'll have to increase the budget. You know, just like
So-
John wants another
So
person in
per
the
diem
office.
payments shall total $50 per day or 75? I don't know what
Per day
you.
per meeting.
Yeah,
Each
come back.
supervisor.
No, they
receives
said not to
$5
be
per
more
day.
than 75 a day, right? Is that
That's
what you
just
said?
an example.
Yeah.
And he
Was 70
So if you attend a $50 committee in the morning and a $50 committee in the evening, you don't get 100, but you get 75 for the full day.
That's what you just, that's what happened.
That's, yeah.
So,
I'm not writing anything.
Expenses.
Okay, we're talking on this.
okay,
So what if I did
So on-
that? What if I
on this
said
example-
eligible for
on this example here,
minimum of
again, I got this from
$50
somebody on the
payment,
committee.
but
I
not more
don't-
than
is it
$75
Douglas
per diem
County? I'm
payment.
not quite sure. But it says each supervisor will receive $50 per diem for out of county travel requiring overnight stay, or $25 per diem for out of county travel not requiring overnight stay. Oh, that doesn't really help me, sorry.
Tori might have an idea.
Let me put it in writing and then I'll read it, so it actually makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you, Tor.
Let's know what you're changing.
So then what?
Yes.
Do, how many citizens are on on different committees?
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody's single, right? There's not.
No, I think there's a couple of citizens on a couple of committees, right?
Rob Keller's on more tthan one.
He's on mine with the housing.
Is he?
authority.
He's on IDB.
Okay.
Okay.
it's okay.
Industrial
So,
development.
And Schlager might be.
He's on the one,
I
but
don't
then he
know.
goes to a lot of conferences and
Conferences,
stuff.
because he
yeah.
was at
Who does?
the conference with
Larry
Ralph and I.
Leitschlager, he's just the chairman, but then he goes to a lot of things.
He was a supervisor.
Yeah.
So is Keller.
Yes.
okay, so I currently have
Yeah, tell them
non-supervised,
where it is, what line.
it's line, it's the 75 to
The red,
78,
the red.
that red. Non-supervisors who are duly appointed to serve on committees, boards, commissions, who are not acting within the scope of their employment or in office in doing so, shall be eligible for a $50 per diem payment for a half-day meeting, but not more than $75 for a full-day meeting and expense reimbursement.
Okay,
Yeah, I like
Can
that.
we define what a full day is on that,
That's right.
maybe?
Yeah, say that again. Go ahead. Shall be eligible for,
A $50 per diem payment for a half-day meeting, should I put in parentheses, 4 hours or less?
per diem payment for a half-day meeting.
Parentheses, 4 hours or less. But not more than $75 for a full-day meeting and expense reimbursement.
More than one meeting, but
Like-
not more than
As after the
$75.
meetings, in the parentheses, meeting or meetings, you know.
Go ahead, but not more than, what did you say?
Not more than $75 for a full-day meeting.
Meeting, and then add parenthesis, as parenthesis,
More than 4 hours.
including, so in other words, if you had more than
That's
one
right.
meeting and stuff.
Like this, here. The underlined.
But not more than 70 for a full day meetings and expense reimbursements. Yeah, show it to them. That's good. Show it to
Pass it.
supervisors, Estera.
The other former supervisor, other citizen is Harold Singh stock. He's on two.
Oh,
Yeah.
It looks like Larry is not.
There's two.
Anybody else want to see it?
I wrote it down. Thank you. Thank you, Cory.
You're welcome.
One other question on that.
Yeah.
So same thing. How do you let the citizen know that this is their pay plan? Because we talked about some people know and some don't. And again, I just found as being a board member, wasn't until probably 2 months ago, when I saw the thing about mileage, I never knew that you take mileage. So I never did. So I mean, some of that stuff should be, it would save a lot of people
Announced.
know about it. So they'll collect it, so you don't have to worry about, some people don't say, because it sounds like there's a problem lots of times that some people don't, some don't even know about it. And we should make it part of their orientation or some form they signed or whatever they did to get here, that they know that they are eligible if they want it or don't take it.
Well, once the person, is nominated or appointed, could there be a letter sent? Dear Mr. Smith, you have now been appointed as a citizen member of blah, 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 you are entitled to.
Right.
I don't know.
It was either that or just directly going right to the committees or the committees, commissions or boards and give them of each one of those, again, committees, commissions or boards, a letter stating that their members are eligible to collect. They don't, you can, I don't know if you put it in there, they don't have to.
Yeah.
It's not required that they collect it,
Mhm.
but if they,
Right,
If so be.
yes.
and a blank copy of the per diem, and there you go.
Mhm.
Make copies, fill them out.
What did you define per diem payments as? A stipend not to exceed more than $75 per day, or do you not even want to put that
That's what it's been in the past.
payments, a stipend not to
Where
exceed
was this at
75?
now? What are we talking about?
The definition of per diem. I know we
What should we
talked
show
about it.
Changed it.
That wasn't in there to begin with.
I think we should just do it at $50 a day, period.
Not the
Or
70.
a meeting, just $50 a meeting, and
I would
So,
agree with that.
so what is it? A per diem payment, a stipend not to exceed $50 a day?
I would say that. I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's very confusing the other way. It's confusing for our supervisors, and then to have someone that only does it every once in a while.
Can't we repeat? Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but so you want to take away the 75 for two,
Mhm.
meet more than one meeting? Okay,
Just $50 maximum a day. That's it.
So those supervisors, those citizens who attend conferences on our behalf, and they're gone for 3 days or whatever, they're still only getting $50 a day for a full
But they
conference.
also
Plus
get
food.
their food
Food, lodging.
included, and they get all their lodging included. I don't even think any of us should get paid when
Yeah,
we're on
I
these
agree.
conferences, but that's just me.
I agree with that.
I mean, you're getting everything paid for to learn CE, and you're getting your conference paid for.
So then if you
And-
did that, then we would change the wording that Tori just
yeah,
suggested.
right. That's what,
That's my opinion. I
That's-
don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but
well, I know that my opponent, Mr. Keller, is on two boards or committees or whatever. And I'm sure that that's a very big, important thing for him, and I know he has lots of experience. So I think that there is a trade-off. They're wanting to be on things for various reasons, not just monetarily. I mean, I think that I would go along with that 50.
I would go
Because I
along with
just-
it too.
Yeah, because we're looking at trying to lower our bottom line, and
I go along with it because if anybody's called to jury duty, you get paid.
it's,
for it.
it's.
$25 a day.
25, and
Whether you
that's to
need- whether
compensate
you
the
need it or
fact
not.
because you had to take
Because
a
I just
time
got
off from
called.
work and everything else. So if you're gonna do it for jury duty, I would do it for,
Yeah, if somebody finds out,
Yeah.
oh, I'm only gonna get $50 a
Yeah.
day, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
it's a choice, yeah. Many people that they have an interest in this, like it might be housing, they might have other interest in it with their housing. It might be part of their job that, to make sure that things go through that committee smoothly.
Mhm.
So that's why they
I
may
mean,
not. They
I
may
too
not.
go along with $50 a day, but supervisor, old supervisor Keller, he's got an MBA. He's a very, and I would hire him anytime for $50 for 4 hours.
And that's fine, and that's fine, Supervisor
Okay.
Bender, but I'm just saying that there are reasons people wanna be on those, would you
Yeah.
agree?
I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah.
it's a heck of a deal we're getting when we get somebody with a MBA to work for us for $50. I mean, I'd love to have him do my taxes for me for $50 for 4 hours. Cost me 900 and something.
Yeah.
I'm still ready to go with the 50 for a half day, 75 tops. I'm still ready to go for that.
Well,
Per diem payment, yeah.
Respectful to all that, we're not really
But
cutting
they've been decided this
the
I
bottom
can
line.
control Z to
We're
put
talking
that.
about small part of the citizens.
Just trying
We
to
still
keep
haven't dealt with the rest. And if we were to double everybody's, we're gonna blow this whole thing out. So I mean, it's gonna be 250,000 and we're talking about 23,000 that might go up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're really spending, I mean, again, I wasn't here last meeting, so I missed out, but we're spending a lot of time on this. This is citizens donating their time, whatever, $50, $25, extra. I mean, that's okay. But what we really are dealing, the biggest amount is what we're not talking about, is what we're gonna end up changing. And that's
Yeah.
gonna be a huge,
that's gonna be. a huge
that's gonna be
number.
$100,000 possibly.
That's
Um,
real money.
So I mean, I just think this
I
is
think we can
smaller
hold it.
than me.
I'm sorry. Ralph, yes, I agree.
I mean, half of them didn't know about it anyways. I mean,
I just try to make it simple.
But,
Yeah, me
but
That's me, you
This-
know.
this is simple, but this is the easy part.
This is
The other part we
yeah,
got
this
is
is
not
fine.
gonna
The
be
other part, we're
simple.
just gonna be
So that's
putting
why it's-
numbers,
right.
plugging numbers in, but I mean,
No.
I'm just doing it for the language, because I know that it's a problem with the language, and we just need to clarify it. That's,
Okay.
and I just wanna keep it simple.
Right.
You know, I don't
Well, if you
want,
just wanna keep it simple, why don't we just give them 75 no matter what? One meeting or 2 meetings or 3 meetings, they're getting 75 tops. Why did you pick
oh,
50?
because it's confusing, you know.
Is
it's
it
like-
$75 less?
Well,
is
no, I
that more
mean, so
confusing?
when you put it in, I still get confused. I'm like, oh, do I put in $50 or $75 or how does it work?
Yeah.
You know,
For
I've only been
sure.
on the board for a year and I've never really sat down to go over it with anyone. I was like, I don't know. I just put in there and then she usually writes to me and tells me I've done it right or wrong.
Okay,
Yeah, me too.
okay.
What
That's
would,
not something we can vote on right now.
kids, we can do consensus, but yeah, what would it cost? What is the cost here for citizens?
23,000.
You know, that's our budget, is their budget.
And that's $75 a day right now? The 23,000 is $75 a day?
It's
No, it's
25 for
$50
half,
a day.
or
Very
50.
few people.
$50
take-
up to 4
Very people
hours.
take 75 on these.
Do we know
things.
that, Julie? Do we know what that?
Did I have that on the report that I gave you?
I don't have.
For
a
the
copy. I
citizen
gave mine
members?
away.
Wait, this one?
Yeah, yeah, on the top.
Yeah.
The only one that they get 75 is if they go to conventions. Take the 75.
That doesn't tell us how many the meetings they were at.
Yes, I just, on the, kind of the right-hand side, I think the budget has been around that 23,000
Mhm.
and we've never come close as to
Okay.
what,
That's from half people not knowing about the other half.
Yeah.
knowing.
right,
I
as you
mean,
can
probably,
see,
yeah.
the last 2 years it's
Right.
increased, the more that
Yeah.
found out.
They have more about it.
I know a lot of them actually know more, just don't take it. Larry knows about it, Larry doesn't take it. Tom Schneider knows about it, Tom Schneider doesn't take it.
Yeah, he does.
Did he take it
Tom
now?
Schneider takes every penny.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know Larry hasn't taken it,
Anyway,
unless he just started,
Because there's 73 supervisors, or 73 citizen members, 74 citizen members out there. And I'm not sure how many meetings. they would attend.
Mhm.
So, do we have that number, Julie?
I'm-
How many total meetings from citizens? have attended?
I don't have that, and I didn't,
Yeah.
because now we haven't been keeping track
Mhm.
of the citizen member meetings because we don't have to. They're not held to the 30-minute or the 30 meetings.
Probably need to have that before budget time.
we don't have it on here, we have every supervisor, but not
Supervisors,
citizens.
but not citizens, yeah. Okay.
So we have possibility of 73 citizens and about 7 or 8 of them are even vacant, so we didn't have that many.
Potential.
So I just want to share, like, of the budgeted amount, the citizen board per diem spent just under 12,000 in 21, 8,425 in 2020, and 12,300 in 2019. So to your point, yeah, we could
People are
budget
finding-
here, but if we're only down here as far as people who are
So-
aware or choosing to take it or whatever the thing is, but just wanted to put some number out there for
Yeah.
where our starting point
Okay,
was.
that's good.
But if you left it, like we just talked about, the $50 for half a day and 75 for a full day is pretty clear so far. It's only half the budget, but
Yeah.
people are gonna find out about it, but the budget was 23, so. We're not talking a lot of money that's gonna change. It hasn't for how many years it was on that slip. I think it's pretty much that way.
so, Mr. Chairman, are you able
But-
to see where we stand on it if we were to vote on it today?
Yes, we can do that consensus. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is on the $50 or $75. Probably 50 first.
So 50 no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
Half a day.
I'm good with that.
That'd be too-
Wait, is this 50 the most per day?
Just straight 50 per
Just
day?
straight 50.
We get 10 meetings. or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, how many? did we get?
Well, I
Three
was
of us?
talking about the 15, 7, just like she had just said. what she
Yeah,
said.
that's-
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I would go. with.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it, the 50 and 75.
Then I do.
Everybody-
So it stays as it is.
is that
You
fine?
can't vote for both.
No. But can you go along with it?
Oh, yeah, I could go
1575, yes,
along with
okay,
it. Yeah,
okay,
I'll
yeah,
go along with
okay.
it.
All right, so let's leave it at.
So to be clear, we're leaving the 50 half day up to 4 hours and 75 full day. We're leaving
Yes.
that language.
Right.
Yes.
And a per diem payment is a stipend. We use that language.
I don't have language for what it is, but that was never made anywhere in the
Well,
original stuff.
I would agree with that.
It just said a-
Miriam, stipend makes sense to me. I don't know, per diem seems Latin.
The $50 per diem payment is.
That
what we
sounds
had.
Latin to me,
I
don't
didn't
you
have
think?
a stipend or.
You're
I know.
working on salt.
Well, we were trying to define what per diem was, and that's when I said
Maybe I need to
stipend.
Go back and get some education.
I don't mean to put another cog in this though.
Sure.
So,
But
but I'm going to, because this is gonna come up too. So as Tom Egan has said, the majority of the people who take the 75 are on a convention. So with the new thing that we're looking at for salary, we're just gonna be salary based. That means no extras, right? That means you're not getting paid that extra to go to a convention. You're not getting paid all those, the per diem. It's complete salary. So we're gonna be going to a convention with citizens, non-supervisors. They're gonna be getting paid for that convention, $75, and we're gonna be on a straight salary, just so we get that.
fine.
Okay. Just wanted to put that out there.
As far as trying to reduce our overall, what are your thoughts?
Well,
about
no,
that?
I just mean that, is that gonna be a problem because you're having non-supervisors who are not elected to go to these conventions, they're getting paid a separate fee to go to these conventions. And then we are not.
They're getting a whole $75. Let them have it.
Well, and we are
Well,
not.
I'm just showing, I'm just
Yeah,
making
you're
it,
working it
Supervisors
into
are
what
not,
they said.
Yes.
and the citizens can.
It's fine with me.
I'm fine with that, but I just wanna make sure that
They're not getting
everybody,
a salary, so.
That's right.
And-
that's what I
Yeah.
mean, but
Yeah.
I'm making sure that that's out there.
It appears to me that if this goes through, I'm gonna be making better with a salary than I am currently with a per diem. So if the
Depending what the
citizens,
number is.
if the citizens are getting a per diem, fine.
So back to Mary Ann's point, just so I'm clear
Yes.
on the language. Do you want to say a $50 payment for a half day meeting and $75 for a full day meeting and take out the word per diem?
Why would we do that, Mary Ann?
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I said when you were defining per diem, per
Mhm.
diem payment shall consist of a stipend of $50 for a half a day meeting, 4 hours or less, but not more than $75 per day. If you want to include a definition of per diem.
Could we take the word for the amount?
That's what I'm like,
And going-
instead
So
of
as opposed to
defining it
saying-
and putting it in another line, can we just put $50 payment for a half day meeting and $75 for a full day meeting? And just
You
take
could
out
do
the word
that.
per diem,
Yeah, I
so you
like-
don't
You could
have
do
to
that.
define it.
I like, personally, I like that better. Let's get
Because
word
the whole
per diem
point
out of
was
there.
to
Word per diem
avoid
out.
per
Yeah,
diems and
yeah.
try to just go with salary,
Yeah, there might be some
Salaries,
that,
payments, yeah, that.
stipends.
Stipends.
okay.
So any so Tori, read it again, just so,
Okay. The whole thing or just
going from line 75 in red.
non-supervisors who are duly appointed to serve on committees, boards, commissions, who are not acting within the scope of their employment or office in
In so doing,
shall be eligible for a $50 payment for a half-day meeting,
Mhm.
4 hours or less, but not more than $75 for a full day meetings and expense reimbursement.
I think that.
I don't know if this money says, but for a full day or multiple meetings.
I said meeting or
not-
meetings.
Okay, good.
or should you just say, but not more than $75 per day?
Mhm.
It doesn't,
Sure.
I mean, I don't,
Yeah,
That sounds
$50
good.
payment for a half a day meeting, but not more than $75 per day.
Yep, that sounds
Perfect.
simple.
Okay.
Love it. Let's do it. Let's go to the hard stuff now.
okay.
I thought that was.
Marianne, do you have anything else in
Oh, it's gonna get harder.
huge red flags? or-
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, when you go back to lines 31
Mhm.
through 33, I don't know why they had it, but it was duplicative of 28 to 30, and that was absolutely right. The same thing, they repeated, again, lines 34 to 36, actually, is the same
That's 28.
as 28 to 30, so that is absolutely fine.
So we're gonna
Uh,
strike those out of it.
and they've already done that, right?
Okay.
They've been struck.
Okay.
I feel like how it's written.
Claims for expenses, for expense reimbursement not submitted to the office of the county board clerk before the first Monday of each month shall not be processed for payment in that month. 5, all supervisors shall submit claims for compensation or expenses pursuant to this article, right? Because the county finance department doesn't handle that. You, clerk's office handles that, is that right?
We put it all together and then forward it on to human resource, or payroll and finance.
9 hours a month.
Okay. Subject to the approval of the county board chairperson or claims for expenses. For expense reimbursement shall be paid by the county except those claims which are in excess of sums permitted by this code or state law. No claim shall be made by any supervisor for expense reimbursement which supervisor has not actually incurred. That's fine. Supervisors shall be eligible for expense reimbursement for attending the following, and you have meetings of the county board. Now, wait a minute, regular meetings. Does that include special meetings, special order meetings? Is a regular meeting a special order meeting?
The 47, line 47.
Yeah, just hold on a second. Let's look at the definitions.
Special orders, I think, a member of the county board. That would be county boards on the call.
Definitions.
Well, except for July, don't we automatically have the special orders every odd numbered month?
Okay, special orders, a meeting other than the regular county board monthly meeting, organizational meeting, or budget meeting, only to be called by the chair. So then you have here regular meetings, so I guess you could say regular meeting.
What do we just add or
And
special orders?
meetings.
Just
Well,
add
if you're
special
gonna do
orders.
special orders, then you're gonna have to do tour also.
We're gonna have to what?
Do the tour.
The tour.
County tour.
They get paid for that.
Do they?
They get paid for tour.
So then should you put,
But if it's a
Regular-
salary,
I guess, don't you want to put that, I mean, I hate to say this, but shouldn't you then say, I just had it. Regular meetings include special order meetings, organizational meetings, or budget meetings? And budget meetings? Because what about those? Budget meeting is not a regular meeting.
No, that's the annual meeting.
Any meeting of the county board of supervisors.
What about
Supervisor-
authorized, because we've changed things to
For
authorized
attending
in
the
other
Any
following.
areas.
authorized
Yes,
meeting.
that's
We
good.
changed authorized down on 50. Why don't we just stick with the term authorized and change regular to authorized,
Authorized
and
meetings of the county. Board of
47 and
Supervisors.
48?
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds great. Just keep authorized.
yeah, that sounds good, yeah. All right.
Chairman, do you see any problem with that?
I haven't seen it, but
Is there any loophole there that,
I'm sure there's a lot of loopholes.
somebody would say a Zoom meeting?
Let me just give you
A
mine.
special meeting or
Yeah, you can
something?
just have mine, because I've got mine on the
Julie just gave
computer.
you an extra here.
And you can have mine, because I have. it.
And then, so 47 and 48, change that to authorized, and then in 50, any authorized meeting as defined within this article, so that will be defined. You can put that in there.
Yeah, which includes
Why do we
tour.
need C?
Yeah, tour,
If you already have authorized
Special.
meetings?
regular,
Any-
Well, then we wouldn't.
organization.
Authorized meeting,
right.
county-
That's
authorized
exactly
meetings of
your
any committee of
monthly per diem or-
jurisdiction.
Salary, and that's it.
Because
Yeah.
authorized meeting here is in on line 24 is where authorized meeting is
All you get
defined.
is your salary monthly, no matter how many meetings you go to or county
Where is
board
it
meetings.
defined?
Right,
Line
That's all you get.
24
There is no other
Yeah.
pay.
Line
right, so
24.
I'm not.
is where authorized meeting is.
But this is,
Oh,
That's why I was like, let's stick with authorized, because that's
Yes.
already defined in this.
yeah,
In
so
line
that's what's
24.
nullified
You're right.
is if we went to
so
salary,
then, but why do we need
Then
then,
line 40, 41 onward. would
why do you
be
need C?
Possibly needing to be tweaked.
If we change A, we don't need, I don't think we need C.
Unless, so A is authorized meetings of the county board of supervisors, B is authorized meetings of any committees of jurisdiction to which the supervisor says, what about the solid waste management board? That's not a committee meeting, that's a board.
What line are you looking at for solid waste?
Well, I'm looking at lines 46 through
Okay.
50.
Okay,
And I was particularly looking at 50 initially, because saying, well, why do we need any authorized meeting? Because it's already addressed in 47.
but we're not supposed to be looking at boards though, right? Isn't that solid waste management board?
For per diem
Okay.
structure of the Winnebago County Board of Supervisors. The Solid Waste
That's a board.
Management Board, you're on it, right?
So am I.
Yeah,
You're on it too.
I'm on the Housing Authority Board,
yeah. So is the
so,
supervisors as a board.
but that's part of the salary.
Right, there'll be no other pay other than the salary.
No,
So as we're
there's a
going towards
salary.
salary, this will be
But-
nullified? What?
There, the lines that she's referring to are covering the expenses
Yeah.
associated with it. So
Oh.
if you
It's only my
drive 12
mileage.
miles to go to the solid waste board,
Right.
you are entitled to,
Okay.
yes,
Your
your
expen-
salary, but then you're
Okay.
also
Oh,
entitled
so
to
that covers that.
$6.14.
Gotcha.
That's
That's like 18 miles from me. But that's-
So you get a little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit.
Could you add?
So we're paying.
Drive around in circles.
this
Yeah,
part
you're not allowed to do that.
Keep the meter running.
You know?
Yeah, there
Just as.
That's what I wanted to
But the intention of
And not
this
have to
group
have
is
C.
that people receive mileage reimbursement the same way they have.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
That's why
I think
we
if
are
we
not
changed it to
touching
authorized, we would need.
yes.
3.05 in the
I think,
code,
okay.
which
You would know
basically
better than me.
addresses
She would know
attendance
better
at
than I do.
meetings and talks about lodging, $10 for breakfast, $12 for lunch. And it talks about public transportation and all of that. That's not touched. We're just touching what is it, 1.12?
Yes,
Yeah, 1.12.
so.
Go ahead.
Changing regular to authorized nullifies C. because It's just redundant. So we could get rid of C.
Authorized meetings of any committee of jurisdiction of the county board to which the supervisor has been appointed.
I think we want to change that to committee commissioner.
Because an authorized meeting is defined up
Capture.
in line 24.
I'm trying to look at these, like there's the
It's a lot.
information systems coming in.
Mhm.
Well, we have all these committees, but we're here, you go.
Mhm.
Uh,
So those are the committees.
I really think
but I thought they also had,
There are some further.
yeah, I think you're right too. No, this is, I think it's before, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna make it easier for you.
I hope so.
Hope so, that's what we're trying to do, right?
Second.
Thinking I'm gonna be able to redo that. per diem
Are we having
sheet.
fun now?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's 28,
But
34.
no, actually, but they're not on the.
No, it's listed, you're right. It's the same one here. No, it's- Here we go. No, did we already? Here it is, citizen involved, here it is. Advocate, Aging and Disability Resource, Board of Adjustment, Board of Health, yeah, there's all of that, so that's right. So on line 48, when you talk about authorized meetings of any, well, committee of jurisdiction to which the supervisor has been duly appointed, along with boards, commissions, tasks.
So any
forces.
committee, board, like committee, comma, board, comma. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you could say that, committee, board, commission. Now, do you want to include task force?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Task force,
What else could be?
you hit board, right? Commission,
Committee, board, commission, task. force.
consortium,
Ooh, better include the
Cons-
railroad consortium.
Oh,
Consortium.
oh,
And things will change when the other task force finishes up too. Think about that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
If they go to 9 committees.
But our,
from
But this,
15,
but still
Our
terminology.
structure's gonna
but
committee
remain
that
the
is
doesn't
same.
change,
still-
I mean,
You're
This
right.
wouldn't
there'll
change.
still be some of those, there will
Right.
still be a board
Exactly.
or a commission
Yeah.
sometime down the road, maybe another task force.
So Tori, read line 48 now.
Authorized
Do
me,
what we've done.
Just a second, let's already done.
authorized meetings of any committee, board, commission, task force, or consortium of jurisdiction of the county board to which the supervisor has been duly appointed.
We should say under jurisdiction, right?
Yeah. All your ease, I get it.
Well, are these? Yeah, I mean, are these under the jurisdiction of the county board?
The ones you just mentioned?
Yeah.
I
It
would
says
think so.
citizen involved commissions,
I mean,
boards
we're
and
not gonna pay
committees.
school board members because they're not under the jurisdiction of the county board.
Yeah.
Under jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So you're right. Stick with your. instinct, you
Authorized
got it.
meetings of any committee, board, commission, task force, or consortium under jurisdiction of the county board to which the supervisor has been duly appointed.
What if you put, I know this is just being authorized meetings of any committee of jurisdiction of the county board, in addition to boards, commissions, task force, and consortiums? Well, that's fine. Just leave it the way it is. Under jurisdiction, that's fine.
You know, your county executive appoints some of them, so.
Under jurisdiction.
Even though we
But-
pay county executive, goes ahead and appoints them.
The person, the citizen members, to which commissions?
Commissions and boards.
Right, that's right. That's right.
All commissions and boards.
Not committees, commissions, right.
But when they, and I just, where I don't know, my Latin just fails me. But does jurisdiction, like if the health department or health board passes a resolution, it goes to the county board, is that? You know, it doesn't go to the executive to approve or whatever, it goes to the county board.
Mhm,
So does
mhm.
that create
But-
the jurisdiction you're looking for?
So what does this
What
have to do
I'm
with the monthly
thinking
salary?
about is the solid waste board,
I think trying to figure
Which
out,
is, yeah.
which is a creature unto itself.
and
Okay.
you know, can I just,
Hmm.
can I just,
I'm confused.
yeah, can I just ask? So if you would get a salary for being on the county board, that I'm understanding. If you're a member of a commission or board, are you gonna be able to claim a per diem?
No, it's all salary.
So
Oh,
we'll
that's just,
discuss it.
that's what I needed to
Yeah.
clarify,
You
that
got it.
you're
That's
not,
exactly
you're
the
not
question.
going,
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the citizens would get what you've,
Mhm.
you know, did down here.
There was some talk at the beginning of this meeting about if you had more than 40 meetings or 30, whatever it was, in the
Mhm.
course of a year, you would begin, that's another issue that we haven't even touched yet.
Yeah.
Nor do I think
Okay.
we have to.
So why, I'm confused, I guess, with the jurisdiction thing. What does that have to affect a monthly salary for the county board supervisors?
I think they're talking about the other, the mileage, correct? So what we're eligible for
Okay.
mileage, you know, and what would make it eligible, authorized, duly,
Or,
whatever.
or if you're out for, but it would cover meals as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the stuff other than a salary. Right? And
But
those have
aren't
to
we
be
talking- I'm
approved
confused.
under the jurisdiction of the
Mhm.
county board.
I
Okay,
think the question
gotta
is,
look
what
at
is the
the number
appropriate
6.
language
Mhm.
to identify the 4 or 5 different structures of a meeting that a county board supervisor may be a member of,
Committee,
in a sense.
jurisdiction.
Well, how was it
Solid-
written
So they're figuring
before?
out where they can do.
So
expense
so the only thing
reimbursement.
is that
That's
so
something
in
solid
number-
waste
in number
board
6, do
isn't
we have
under
to
the
define that
jurisdiction of
that's
the county
mileage and
board.
stuff?
Well,
No, because
That's-
that's identified in
subject to
Rule
interpretation.
305.
Okay,
yeah,
Let's
Or
just have the
in
longest sentence we
305,
can.
I
'cause we
know,
wanna be
I know.
fair.
I agree with
okay,
you.
then that's okay.
So authorized meetings of any committee of jurisdiction of the county board,
It has
in
all of
addition
that
to any
explained
boards,
in
commissions,
305
task
for the
force, and
general board.
consortiums to which the supervisor
in
has been.
here
I think that's what you should
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Okay.
Line
I think what
66.
you should do,
Okay.
Tori, listen, is say authorized meeting of any committee of jurisdiction of the county board.
Committee,
It has it right there. Authorized meetings of any committee of jurisdiction of the county board, got it?
mhm.
In addition to any board, commission, task force, and consortium to which the supervisor has been duly appointed. There you go.
Done.
That
Good.
makes it, yeah.
That's thorough. That
I just
covers.
wanna make sure I have this.
That's a
Let's
good
see.
blanket.
Authorized meetings.
I
of any
assume when
committee of
all these say
jurisdiction.
authorized, this is Mr.
County board,
Chairman,
in addition to
has
any
to
board,
authorize. He's the
commission,
one.
task or consortium,
Not the office.
not under
If you
which,
look on your first
to
page,
which.
line 24 defines what an authorized meeting.
To which
is.
the
That's
super,
one of them.
yes.
Say the same thing, but it's, you get all that extra work.
He does more now than what he will. with this. Maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we at a point to tackle line 55?
Sure.
Hang in there, Marianne, this, comes out at you.
No, this is your domain, not mine.
I know.
This is your
I
domain.
learned.
Do we need to put something in there about Zoom? Do we need to say that it's authorized? And the whole issue with Zoom and that?
The whole issue goes away, so.
Well, you wouldn't be claiming mileage if you're going on.
I'm
Zoom.
not thinking
Yeah.
straight, but I know
Yeah.
that that was a concern for.
I think that goes away now. Zoom. You can do it all anytime you want, but you're still only gonna be paid.
I just want to be
Salary.
thorough.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. No, 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 no. You cannot attend, you cannot vote
You cannot vote.
at a meeting if
Yeah.
you're appearing via Zoom. There was a
Yeah. you can't
Right, there's
vote.
legislation right on point on that.
Yeah, so I'm concerned that people want to take that as get compensation for the Zoom meeting.
And they do.
You can't.
I
They
mean,
do. They do.
You
I
can
know,
now,
do
but
we
I
wanna
mean,
fix that now.
What-
with
fixing
this
that.
will fix it.
That's right, because you're saying it's a monthly salary.
Yeah,
Yes, it's a
and
monthly
there's no
salary.
per
End
diem,
of
right?
discussion.
And you're not gonna get any travel, whatever for it,
Right, yes,
unless you're traveling to a place that.
Unless there's something in the
right.
rules or something like that that we
Mhm.
need to change here at this point in time. The Zoom
Yeah.
meetings will be.
But,
I apologize.
yeah, but it's not eliminating the need
No.
to be
Yeah.
present in order to have your vote counted.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay,
Unless the chair
Correct.
would suspend the rules, then you could vote. But it's up to the chair has to suspend the rules.
That's right.
Before the meeting starts.
Thanks.
Isn't it?
That's
So there is a way you can
I just
vote on it.
wanted to
That's
let you
good.
know, because they
That's good.
invited her up to
That's
watch
right.
it, so I just wanted to let you know,
That's
that's
good.
why she's not here.
That's fine.
Ralph,
Thank you.
again, okay, so accountability, okay, so now you're getting a salary to do your job,
Mhm.
okay? But you decide, I could either do it on Zoom, I don't have to really go in person anymore, but I don't need to vote, so I'm, no, which is bad, because they're supposed to be voting, so you don't go.
you lose.
Or you decide that, no, it's not important, this one, I don't have to go to that meeting. So now you got people that sometimes go and sometimes don't. So what about accountability? I mean, you're elected, you're getting a salary to do the job, but now,
you just named it, you were elected,
Yeah.
so, I
Right.
mean, you're.
but
If
I,
you're not showing up at meetings and you're drawing a salary for doing nothing, in 2 years,
Yeah,
hopefully your
I-
constituents
I,
will see that.
okay.
I've
So
seen this in writing in some of the other counties, and what they do is they say, it's like a three meeting rule. You miss 3 meetings unexcused. Now, excused would be like if you're in the hospital or something like that. Unexcused is you just went south for 3 months. If you miss 3 of them, you're in danger of, you can't be taken off of the supervisors, but you're in danger of losing that committee. There, so.
I mean, that's important, because if you get elected and you get on committees,
mhm.
you have the right to say, I don't want to be on or be on it. So once you
Yeah.
take the responsibility, especially if you're gonna talk about paying a couple bucks to a chairman or vice chairman on a committee, that your responsibility is there to take that on. And again, I think once if this passes and the salary's out there,
Yeah.
there might be more interest in people running,
Do you
because
recommend
per
doing
diem
this
maybe
without
wasn't
keeping
anything
it
else but a
red,
salary now,
underlining
this is a
and
different kind of
changing
job.
today?
So I think that's gonna,
This is gonna get.
but they have to be
confusing.
accountable.
Just
There
leave
has
it.
to be
The
some
red is fine,
reason
just leave it
to
that
make
way.
sure
Yeah.
It's like
And I
You're
know, like
underlining
you
what
said,
changed
2 years later, you get voted out,
The
but
red underline.
that's, you know, you gotta put up with it. You know, Mr. Chairman's gotta put
Just
up
so
with
you
people
remember
not
this.
going to the meetings, not doing stuff, because they got elected. So worry about the next year, but again, it's a salary.
Huh?
You should have
Make it
accountability.
keep-
for
I know.
doing that.
That's why the three meetings.
But you're gonna-
is in
But we
there.
don't have it in there.
We
in
don't have
ours.
it in here.
So
I'm
that's the
just saying,
thing,
I'm
is
not
you
sure we
miss 3
can.
unexcused meetings, you endanger losing committee
Yeah.
assignment.
I'm not sure we could put that in this document.
But that's all you risk losing? You still getting a salary?
Yeah, because you're elected.
Yeah, you still get your salary.
So that's what
Well-
he's saying. If they get
We're
elected
talking about
and
accountability.
Yeah.
they're getting paid, they're just simply not showing up because all they're doing is getting paid. So you can take them off of a committee, but they're still getting paid.
We can't legislate morality.
Exactly.
Strike that.
We can just unelect it. We can just defeat them in the polls.
But I mean,
Yeah.
understanding that the majority of municipalities, boards,
Mhm.
school boards, all of us, all the ones I've ever been on, they paid a salary and people showed up.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
it's,
don't think that's gonna.
I
I
don't
don't think it's
say-
gonna make a difference.
no, I really, I think maybe, I don't know, people who, I don't know.
Well,
I
I
look
don't
forward
know.
to it. I don't want to do a Zoom. I don't myself. I
and
look
how,
forward to
and
it.
the enforcement of this 3 meeting rule that this other county uses, I mean, who's gonna enforce it, who wants to enforce it? You know, I mean, I don't think Chairman Egan would wanna enforce that,
We're giving him a badge and he gets to enforce it.
or would you? I mean,
Right. No, I'm, No, but I think they should come. I do know some that have been elected and lots of times they don't show up to meetings. I mean, you can be, Ralph was right. You get elected, you don't have to show up for 2 years. So it's time to get run again.
From your can I ask him a question?
Yes, you
Mr.
can.
Chairman, okay, so from your experience, would you like to have kind of a backup that you could, hey, I'm gonna have to take you off the committee because you've missed more than 3 unexcused absences? No,
Mhm.
okay, thanks.
I did that once and I got crucified over it, so.
Okay, that's good to know.
Do you still have the nail holes?
Yeah, because he's just talking
Certain
about.
spots.
And
So. there's no
And we
accountability.
have had supervisors who have gone to Florida for the winter.
Yeah.
And they managed to zoom in, but then we changed the rules about the zooming,
You
but
can't vote.
we,
Yeah.
yeah. But then we changed the rules about the zooming and voting. That's gonna be more than 3 meetings if they're heading off to Florida for the winter.
But that's unexcused though, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about unexcused,
Yes.
3 unexcused, but again, he said that not interested.
Yeah, okay.
Let's
That's
leave
just
that for
me.
another
That's
task
just
force.
me. I might not even be chairman next time, so that's just me.
Well,
Well, yeah, just, let's leave that for another task force.
If we go back to the quarter, he didn't show up for 3 months, and he ended up losing his job.
Again, I think that was just
Yeah.
Supervisor Harrison's concern about accountability to
It
some of
takes a while,
the
but if
priority.
you don't show up, you'll eventually lose your job.
And you
You
do
could be
because,
removed from the county board by not fulfilling your duties.
and you do because there's groups out there that keep track of who you voted, how you voted,
Oh, yeah.
did you vote, did you come in or not? And they're watching this, so, I mean, they watch like a lot.
A lot of watch groups out there.
Once they get that out there on a Facebook thing, it's already poison the
Let's
poor
keep this
person.
under 4 hours. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Line 55. And any other questions on that?
That's what I did.
Council has no questions on
Elephant in the room,
it?
shall we?
Yeah. Okay. Monthly salary. Start down at line 62. I'm gonna pass this out. Just take one copy and pass it around. This is an unaudited, this is Jim on the computer, putting things together.
Taking them off of this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And it's close to what the real world Julie has. I think, I brought it up to, it was 104, she has it at 102. I would go with that number. If you total these up, mine makes the $102,000 or 104,000. And hers is 102. I'm sure hers is right.
Oh, this is awesome.
Based on this here.
Yes, so this is an unaudited copy, but just, it gets us in the ballpark on this is all. The average for the 102 is 2834, 2,834. So we would really be stupid to go below that.
I'm sorry, what do you,
I'm down almost the bottom of the page.
average from the supervisors?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what the old per diem was,
Uh-huh.
has been used on that. The budget is 125,000, which is actually averaging out to 3472.22.
You know, if you went to 3473, you'd be the second lowest.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I would think a county board supervisor, if you believe, should be about $5,000
This is,
and 14,000 for the chairman, and look at the average of what the vice chair is.
I would ask that we would throw out the 5 that I see, or the 4, which is
Yeah.
4, there's Supervisor Skellinger, do you say Skellinger? Skellinger, Supervisor Robinson, Supervisor Peschel, Supervisor Gustafson. I don't think, and Supervisor Belleville, so that would skew the average in my humble opinion.
But they may do it or may not do it. They may not be elected next year in 24 when they start.
That
So-
changes the
so,
average.
yeah,
It just
it'll
really
change
does
the
change the
average. It's
average.
Average for right now. We're not looking at right now on this. The reason I made these in yellow, that if we went below that 3472, the people with yellow votes are probably gonna vote a no on this because they're already making more money. They were just. assuming
Oh,
they
you just
close out
highlighted
shop.
those.
So I just, just to put that out there.
take out
That's
those
why I said
outliers, it's
unaudited.
3,900 on the average.
Yeah.
So,
I just think you should.
Okay,
look
no,
at-
no, let's go back to Steve, I'm sorry.
I think you should look at this sheet
Mhm.
and look at, these are what the average
Yeah, I
people are
agree.
getting.
Yeah.
You know, like we did a county wage study, we took the average wage of all the counties around us, and that's how we came up to a wage study. We didn't care what our employees were making. That wasn't irrelevant. It was what they were making around us. And this is the sheet that has that.
Yeah.
And if you want to take the average of this sheet
Mhm.
and what this sheet averages,
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I added on this sheet that Supervisor Bender is referring to, I added a few more information, you know, just as far as like gathering up all of the pieces of data.
Mhm.
So, you know, there's Dane, and I know that these, I understand, these are huge, some of these are huge. But, you know, I just added Dane at 11,200, Dora at 7,500, and so on. So I guess that's the only thing, but this to me meant, I mean,
Mhm.
again, there are big, huge.
Yeah.
And even out of baby's bigger.
Yeah.
You know, that's gonna be, but. Brown, you know, Kenosha, I'm not sure about Kenosha. Of course, not that, it's, I don't know how big Kenosha is. I know it's a suburb of Milwaukee, which would naturally be big. You know, Waukesha. Washington. First thing you also have this, but anyway,
I think one of the things I see, you know, is some of these counties have a lot less supervisors. And in my mind, like if you're one of the 11 supervisors in Walworth County, you're probably doing a lot more work than one of the 36 supervisors in Winnebago County or 36 in Allegheny or something like that. Doesn't look like there's, you know, a lot of rhyme or reason or, you know, to the way a lot of these are constructed, other than we're maybe behind most counties and
We are. and a
You know,
lot of
getting
it's,
there. I have to go pick up my daughter in a few minutes, so I'm gonna just say one more piece, kind of covering the rest of this, and we'll look forward to what the recommendation ends up being. And that is basically, you know, that I think, you know, most of these counties are somewhere between like $5,000 and $7,000 in the salary for supervisors, and then some, you know, some variations around that. I think that feels like a good spot, you know, good spot to be, in my opinion, because it doesn't create a lot of turmoil for people who had been active in, you know, on the higher side of the per diems. It also seems to put us more in line. If we're a little lower than that, that's okay too. Like I think, you know, you've brought up the point about how much is that total number? Are we gonna go from 125 to $500,000, or, you know, some of these counties are spending, you know, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 other. So that seems like a big jump to me, and I didn't run the number, but just thinking it through, if we did $5,000, that's a big jump from the 125 that we're at now. So I would, you know, I don't really have a strong opinion, if I guess I'm saying I have a wide range, but I think, you know, we're probably needing to go up from where we are.
we will be spending a lot more than
Yeah.
125. I haven't
Oh,
done the
yeah,
math. but-
180.
Yep.
It's 180.
180,
Plus, you have to have the
And that's,
chairman,
that, yeah.
you said
Yeah,
at
well,
least
yeah,
14,
yeah, right.
and the vice chair. But you gotta remember, we just gave $2.9 million to the employees. And every time when the sheriff, the clerk, they get elected, we do a wage study just like this. And if their surrounding sheriffs are making more money, they'll get a big jump in pay. You know, we haven't got a big jump in pay, and that's why it reflects it here. And if you look at those numbers, a lot of them still get per diems. They're making that plus per diem. Marathon County isn't really much different than we are, and their chairman's getting $31,000 a year. And their supervisors are getting $9,339 or $9,539. Well, that's the vice chair, $5,826 for supervisor.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, now's the time to basically make this adjustment. We'll have to adjust the money in the budget. And then from now on, we should take a salary, just like when the sheriff gets a 3 or 4% raise, it should be added.
Yes.
And this will never have to be done again, because we never did that, because we always wanted the per diem at a round number, 75,
Yeah.
60, you know, so we always waited 8, 10 years and then we adjusted it. Well, now, when all the elected officials get a raise, Well, there's no reason why these elected officials can't get a 3 or 4% raise, because it's only going on to your, basically your salary. You're not gonna be turning a slip in for it, where a committee is 51.75, you know? So it'll basically go in the future, it should adjust itself. Once we adjust it now, I mean, and at an equitable rate. I mean, to say that we're worth $4,000 would be the third lowest paid in the survey.
Now, would you specifically, list that in our rules and that it goes with inflation, that it goes every time, I mean, that's,
Well, like
It's a
the
good idea.
sheriff, they just bring it before the election, like we're doing this right now. And they basically will say the sheriff, they'll give a 3-year, whatever his term is, and we'll approve a raise for every one of the years that he's gonna be elected.
so it has to be voted on every single time, right?
Every single time, all the elected officials are, other than us,
And you're just saying that we would be added to that?
added to that, so that when they're going on, we would be a part of that,
Whatever that raise is,
whatever their raise is.
1% to 4% or whatever.
Whatever they deem
Modify
necessary.
that.
We'd never have to do this again because they're adjusted, so.
Specifically.
I don't know if we'll get that, but
That's a good.
I understand
that's
what
good.
you're saying and I agree with you. I just
Yeah.
don't think it'll get passed with that.
So I think one,
Maybe.
one thing is when we pass the sheriff's salary, it's listed as 2023, this amount, 2024, this amount, 2025, this amount.
Yeah.
With our per diems, it had always been codified in the ordinance as 50 and 75 or previous whatever. And if we list ours as in 2024, the salary will be this, and 2025, the salary will be this. Then before the 2026 election, it will necessitate that coming back to the board to set a new rate. But if we just say, this is the salary without saying in this year and this year, then certainly bring it back.
Right.
But, it's natural, like without somebody saying like, hey, I wanna reconsider this, it would, well, I shouldn't say reconsider, that means something, but I wanna consider what we should do with this. It would just roll over.
You didn't need an initiative from a supervisor because it would
Yeah.
be built in.
Yeah.
Does that make
So
sense?
would it be
An example.
24, 25, 26, or would it be just for whatever the term is? You're electing for 24, for 2 years, it's gonna be this amount. 26, we could put it in for 26, I think. And have it adjusted, it will be adjusted in 26.
And we could do that. I mean, I don't wanna make it any more complicated, but some
Yeah.
time in the future, a future board should basically do that. So we're on schedule with all the other elected officials. So that, it's hard to give yourself a raise, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're saying, but we're not giving ourselves a raise because we may not have these jobs. I won't have this job.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just wanted to be transparent with everybody else. I don't think a supervisor in Allegheny County should make $5,800 a year and I make $4,200. And I do just as much work as they do. And on top of that, she gets $25 per diem. So it's like she's probably getting 6,300. This is about double what I get. I work just as hard as she does, so why wouldn't it be treated the same? No different than our plow drivers and the rest of our workforce. We had to make adjustments so that they felt equitable, and we need to do that for ourselves.
Well,
I guess I have two comments. One is, this job takes a lot more than I ever thought it was, to be honest with you. And I wanted to go to different conventions or that too, but I thought, God, with the money I'm spending, I'm hitting the taxpayers high. There's 6 other supervisors at these I call them party because they all get together with other friends. That's what it seems like. But so now that's a lot. So I held back because I probably could get more education. I tried to go more meetings, but I didn't want to charge. I didn't take the miles. So I'm saying as a supervisor, this job is a lot more than I thought. So it's worth a lot more. On the flip side, if we really want, like we talked about saving money, we don't need 36 supervisors. We could get down to 18 and double everybody's pay, and we still haven't spent any money. If we really were talking about trying to save the taxpayers some money, because that would do it, 18, we could all get $6,000. We could do more things.
Yeah,
So if you really wanted to save, you could. But we're in that area. So that's the flip side. But I'm just saying the job is a lot more. And I know some other supervisors, not criticizing, some of them don't do as much or don't get involved as much as they do it. But to me, there's a lot more that I could be doing and I want to do, but I don't want to charge the taxpayers. I just feel guilty by doing that. And I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's how I feel on those two things. And if you want to save money, there is a way to do it. Otherwise, we're gonna get a raise. And like you said, 2 years from now, someone else is gonna be doing something different than we are. So,
Okay, we're talking specifics
Okay.
right now. I have two people saying 5K.
I thought six, so that's what I was thinking, $6,000 I thought was what, but that's a big, and then we're gonna do the two there. Two others,
Well, we used
so
to
that's what I'm saying.
I don't live with any of that.
Okay, I just want to
Thanks,
say.
Thanks, buddy. See you later.
How about a carpool?
Can't wait.
Take care.
Don't miss that.
day, so.
Oh. Put a towel in your
Uh-huh.
car.
Like right now, I'm, you know, 500 a month is what I'm making, and I'm working really hard for that, and I would say 7. And I would say if I could add, there's a lot of concern by people that I've talked with other supervisors of reducing the 36. I do know that, I understand your
Let's get to
ideas.
that, let's get to that.
Okay, just want to throw that in, thanks.
I was looking at 45 or 5,000, but I would be okay with 5,000.
Okay.
I'm flexible though. I mean, if you guys decide on something different, I would be okay with that.
Karen. You've been quiet.
Nobody ever says that about me. In my head, I think I also had 6,000 in my head, but I'm okay with 5. I mean,
Okay,
just see how this plays out.
okay, now I'll address that other one about reducing the head count on the supervisors. Seems to me that, and Marianne, I saw it in writing somewhere, and maybe Julie knows this, about that the towns have to have so many representatives on our board. And I don't know if that was, it
there's-
might have been out of Gammy's or somebody else's.
No, there's a
that-
statute,
So
59.
How do we
addresses-
come up with the 18? Was it that the
Well-
towns and the villages each say that we must have 3 on? I didn't know.
Why are you talking about like
We were
the
just talking
size
in
of a
general.
county board when this is supposed to be looking
Yeah.
at just task force?
Yeah.
So I
It
think,
just, it's a number that keeps coming up. We're gonna reduce the amount of committees. They wanted to reduce the amount of supervisors also, but I'm not sure that we can do
yeah,
that.
there's something
I
in
think
the
Jen and
county
Ethan
board.
might know too.
I just know that's not what our focus is.
It's not our focus yet.
Yeah.
Yep, I just,
This meeting's already
Yeah.
over time. I think
we can.
that's somebody else's problem, how many we're gonna have.
Yeah, I give the floor and listen.
Well, I can tell you that you don't need to have somebody like, we've got, Donna and I've got a township that's divided right down in half there, so you don't have to be that way whatsoever. It used to be like the chairman of the towns, they used to be the one sitting on the county board.
Yeah.
Anymore, that's
Oh,
not.
here it is.
I think what might be getting mixed up is like the planning and zoning. They gotta have 4 people from
Okay,
the rural area on there and 1 from the city.
sure.
So there's some of the townships that are that way by state statute.
Mhm.
But otherwise, anything else other than that, I don't know of anything.
I found the statute. It's 5910 sub 3, which says counties with a population of less than 750,000, but at least 100,000 shall have no more than 47 supervisors. Now, my understanding is at one point Winnebago County had more than 36. Did they have like 38 or 40
Yeah, at the
something?
beginning, I saw that.
And then it talks about counties with a population of less than 100,000, but at least 50 shall have no more than 39 supervisors.
Okay.
Counties with a population of less than 50, but at least 25,000 shall have no more than 31 supervisors.
Okay, that's it then, so.
I mean, it's in this, it's 5910 sub 3.
But we
Thank
just
you.
went through that here when we, before, and that overwhelmingly, it was, they were packed in the back room that they didn't want it, even as Julia, that they didn't want it to go down any more than what it was, so. What you're hearing out in the country, and when it comes to the county board,
Yeah.
they didn't want it any less because they are afraid of missing out of the
Oh, yeah.
representation.
Absolutely, yeah,
So the towns and the villages and all that, so.
okay,
um,
so we just put that one to rest. Thank you.
No, I mean, again, it doesn't say you have to do it, you
Right.
could, but
Yeah.
that's where maybe the numbers came from.
mhm.
And I will tell you that there are other counties that I believe are comparable, if not larger in size, that do not have 36 county board supervisors. It's a reduced number. But
Somebody told me, I don't know if it's true or not, Fond du Lac reduced theirs way down. And then they ended up having to put it back up.
a little bit.
Don't want to get that trap.
Yeah.
in the middle. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at between 5 and 6, or Shanna, you had 7,500 or 7,000.
Well, I would just add to the, when I say 7,000, right now I happen to be happily serving on a lot, you know, a lot, but if we were, the restructuring aspect, we're going hand in hand with that. So that might change, that
Oh, yeah.
7,000 is,
Yeah.
that's not a,
Yeah,
I'm negotiable, you know what I mean, like a flexible, I should say.
okay. Okay, so that covers one. Then, if we can have a consensus on that, county board supervisor monthly salary. Dash there. Thoughts? Putting down 5,000 on
That
that.
would be 180,000
Well,
a year.
Yeah. We have another problem with the budget, but we'll have to deal with that too.
Yeah, that's just salaries
Mhm.
for supervisors.
Supervisors at 5,000.
With all
We okay with
36,
that,
right?
everybody?
Is that conditional on what the restructuring says? Because that depends, it's contingent on restructuring.
The restructuring of.
We're not contingent on them.
No, it's
but-
just a
Yeah.
salary, right? This is just
Yeah.
a straight salary.
Some people are gonna be on one committee and other. people
I'm
are
making
gonna be on
60
six.
right now,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Mhm.
You know, like, everybody won't have equal committees.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be, you know, like, somebody right now that's only on 2 committees is gonna get a heck of a raise.
Mhm.
You know, somebody that like myself that's on basically 5 committees, I'm not really gonna get that much, but I'm not gonna be here anyhow. So, you know, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna matter if you're on one committee or no committees. All you really, when you run for county board, you run to be county board supervisor. If you work days and you can't work on any committees, there's nothing you can do. You can't take vacation.
Well, I know that we're handling a budget of $190 million, and I know that I spent about 2,000 on my campaign, and some of that was donated. So I would just really still stick with a 6, because it just seems like 500 a month would be, but again,
Oh, I'm going with the 6. I mean,
I'll go with 6.
I'm all for it. I think we're
I
on.
think I
I'm-
suggested 6, so I'll definitely go with that.
Okay.
this
Because
is
I'm
my
ju-
line
I-
of reasoning. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at what here, and I take out the 4 or 5 people that like, that's the reason he's not getting that, you know, take those out. And then you add what I could have done, if I would have done, but I didn't want to. It's easily 6.
Yeah.
2,600.
16, 6,216.
216, okay,
I've been doing the math as we've been
thank
going.
you.
Okay, I'm gonna get spitballs.
What?
Say the word,
He's just a
He's not on
spectator.
the committee.
He's
I
a
know, but I'd like
spectator.
to,
Okay,
I'd like
okay.
to get his feedback. I don't know
But
if
there's-
Chairman would allow us to
There's
get
quite
his
a bit of
feedback.
history behind you, sitting behind you here. Yeah. Looking, smiling, and saying, oh, something's wrong. Anyway, 6. We're on, okay with that? Consensus way? Okay, committee chairperson. This is a monthly, so they would be earning minimum 6,000, but
I would think 15,000 yearly.
Where is this at now? I'm sorry. What
this is,
line?
this will be line 63.
Okay. Okay, so, line 63, okay, so looking back at our cheat sheet,
Outagamie County gets $15,302. So I would hate to make them much less than Outagamie County. We're about the same size county and we have 36 supervisors. He works
Are you
just
talking about
hard.
Committee chairperson or county board chairperson?
County board.
County board.
and
Okay,
again,
we're on committee.
We're on
Committee
committee.
chair.
Committee
right?
chair.
oh,
Oh,
sorry,
committee chair,
Yeah. Committee
$50.
chair.
$50.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, can I, for my son again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it takes a lot to get it, I'm not a supervisor, I'm not a chairman, but I know it takes a lot to get the itinerary set up on
Oh,
the meeting, find out what,
yeah.
talk to people, so, I mean, you know, and then some committees that I'm on don't meet every month, they meet every other month, so, or some once, 4 times a year, so, you know, but I think there's a lot to put into that, and I haven't had a chance to do that, but I know it's a lot of preparation. And if you did it, $100 a meeting or 75 a meeting, the ones that have meetings will be covered, and the ones that aren't, well, they're not gonna get as much. But that's just, I'm just
This would be a
suggesting.
monthly, so
Right.
this was just not
Well,
a
if they don't
per
have
meeting,
meeting,
because we
well-
were getting away from per.
Okay, but what about the
Like-
people, what about the committees that have only 4 meetings and the rest have 12?
IBD. Industrial
Right, so there's a
Development
lot of
Board.
it that I'm on.
But that's why the whole
Basically.
restructuring is happening, and that's also, you know, if you're only meeting once every other month,
Right.
then this should average out.
Mhm.
So would the person that's chairing this have to turn in a paper saying, I did this?
No,
No, they're just
they're
automatic.
elected
automatically be put
at the
on there.
But they're not
Organization
doing it yearly, they're doing it, they start at one point and they stop
say
it when their,
600.
when their term is up.
And the term is up, yes.
So there's no accountability for that part of it,
Yeah,
where
opinion.
when maybe they're actually chairing it 8 months out of the year.
You could say
I don't know if the committee can the
12,
committee change their
600.
chairman?
They can.
yes, they can.
Mhm.
So
After,
if they say
after
that
a
the
year,
chairman is not doing the job
After a year.
after 1
after a
year.
year, and they have to have the,
So I'm
um,
locked in here.
you have to have the you have to have a majority vote in the
Okay.
committee.
And some chairmen can't go to meetings, so they go to other committees and send somebody else. Like I'm sent on somebody else because they took the chairmanship, but they can't do the job, so they sent me to another one. That they have to
Well,
do.
that person should
So
not be
that,
the
so that's
chairperson.
another one you're gonna
Yeah.
run into that.
I mean, that's, once again, you can't legislate morality.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of accountability though, you know, I know that we don't want to split hairs, but.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Even if he doesn't make the meeting, he still sets the agenda.
Yeah.
You know, like on for UW Extension, I meet with the director, I set the agenda, I can add, take away from that agenda.
Okay,
It's my meeting
that's fine.
and the department head's there to explain what the department's doing. But that meeting is run by the chairman of that committee, just like Tom runs our county board meeting. If he wants to let somebody talk again, if he says no, that's no.
Okay,
There is a lot of work being a chair. I'm a new chair because I was elected after the death of another supervisor. And this is a one-off, I suppose, but this past month has been called several times a week, and Supervisor Dowling tried to send out a form to find some time, a 2 hour period at some day in the month when everybody could meet, and it wasn't working out. I mean, it was like, can you do this? No.
I'm supportive of the 75.
It
a
was,
month.
it was,
What about $1,000 a year?
That's what's.
If 600 is $50 a month, but if we did $1,000, would that be enough compensation for and it's gonna be restructured, we all know it, that something's going to pass. So it's gonna be a lot less, and it's gonna be less committees and more work for whoever that chairperson is.
90 times 12 is, how much is that per month?
I don't know, I just was doing,
90 a month,
yeah,
or 80 times 12 is.
How much is it?
divided into 12.
Yeah, it's like
is
about
$83.33.
That seems fair.
There is
Round
a-
their numbers.
I was just thinking rounder, not
That
just,
sounds
Okay.
fair.
Yes.
please.
Yes,
I
please.
just got something and we're thinking that something's going to pass, but we don't know what's going to pass. We all got hopes it's gonna pass.
Yeah.
But we got one committee here that's, they're lucky if they meet 4 times a year right now. So if it don't, and they don't get put in with somebody else, you're going to give that person $250 per meeting. And that chairman of that committee usually don't even come to that meeting. He's over Zoom. So he can't vote at the meeting neither. I'm just throwing this out.
Yeah, the what ifs.
So.
I know, but
have
that
someone
committee,
Agree with Ralph, what do you say?
I know another committee too, that they only meet every other month. And that person will get $250 if you do 1,000.
So how do we remedy that?
Well, that's why I'm just, I mean,
How does that?
I don't even know how that rule
Stick
went.
with the
but they don't have to-
$600 a year, and that's $50 a month, and that evens out an average.
It hurts the people that are really doing lots of work though.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, JPS is huge.
Oh, okay, so
I can't
then
imagine.
maybe
I can't imagine what time.
find someone who really wants,
Sorry.
it's
just
a
saying.
choice, you know what I mean?
I
don't
know that, but
I'm struggling because
some of
like,
the chairs really work hard. That's the
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
I agree.
And with.
Could they
with-
just fill out a per diem?
No,
With
don't
the
talk about it
structure,
today.
with the
We're done.
structure
We don't want to hear that word more. Right, we're done with that.
So do we want to do a monthly salary? Do we want to do just?
Stipend form?
I would,
a
I
year.
would want a monthly, personally, I would like a monthly
Monthly?
salary. And if you want to just pick a number out of the air on this one, $100 a month. I don't know.
you want a
Because
monthly, not a yearly.
I envision that the other task force is going to get their way on something, whether it be 9 committees or 6 committees or whatever it is. That it's going to, they're probably going to get their say on this.
Yeah, I would support a monthly.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
If a chairman were to receive $100 a month for the meetings that they have to chair, does that then fall again into per diem? Cause if if they're only meeting quarterly, they're gonna get $100 per month
Yeah.
for the meetings they chair, and so that means they're only gonna get 4 times that. Whereas someone who's chairing 12 a month, 12 a year, or is that falling back into the sort of per diem
No,
thing?
because you actually took out per diem and you're saying monthly salary, right?
You know?
So
Yeah.
county board supervisor monthly salary, 6,000. Committee chairperson, monthly salary plus.
Plus 63, line 63, it says. Could we say
Seems like that- seems like
$100
That
per
covers the,
meeting?
that seems like that covers the problem where there's people who are only meeting 4 times a year.
Could we say $100 per meeting on line 63?
I don't know, why not, or does that sound more
Or
like per diem
75?
again? I don't want.
I think $100 is too much.
75 per meeting?
I know that there's a lot of work, but it's,
Yeah, well,
it's,
and think about it, they're actually, if it's going to 9 committees, they're gonna have 9, they're gonna still have 15 different department heads that they're having to talk to. So you may be a chairman of, one of these major committees, and you might have 4 other department heads you're gonna have to schedule around.
So if you did
That's,
$100, yeah, so I can see that. I mean,
okay,
because you're not paying the
How many
people that only
committees
do
do we
4
have?
times a
Is it
year, they would
17
only be getting
or not?
Well,
400.
I know we have 27
The other people would
departments,
be
but I don't
getting
know how.
1,200 that are really active, and then they would, per meeting, they would still have to account for that, right?
Maybe we put it in as $100 if you meet more than X
13.
amount of times a year.
Standing.
what did you
a
say,
thought.
standing committees?
I'm just curious how many committees we have. I know we have 27 departments, but she just said 13 standing committees and
16
16 citizen,
citizen.
so almost 30, so 29.
29. Are we talking just standing committees though?
$3,000.
Is that also boards and commissions and?
There's, 13 standing committees and 16 commissions.
Commissions, boards,
Boards.
but that doesn't include the task forces, does it?
No,
But you can only be on
I think
one, you can only
standing
have to be a
committees
chairman on one
only.
committee, is that right? Committee?
Right.
I think standing committees only.
So you want to put committee on
Yeah.
line 63, committee chairperson for standing committee? Or
63.
standing committee chairperson? As opposed to just plain committee chairperson?
Well, that would be good
That
to
would be good, but-
specify.
But then who's not in
the
the,
other task force is gonna push to have a county board supervisor as the chairperson across the board. Like that a citizen member would not be able to be a chair is,
Oh, they are?
that's what
That's
I
what they're
think they're
looking at.
pushing
Okay.
towards.
It's
Whether
hard
it would
because
happen,
if
but-
we know what they're gonna get pushed, or if they could go first, that would be a lot easier on this. Am I wrong?
But can we revisit that later if they do that and change, and of course, modify it
Cause we're not gonna.
and
be
just
going
look at it
until-
as it is right
They're
now?
not gonna be going through July either now.
Yeah.
Because they didn't, can't we just give them more slot?
I
You know
haven't
what I
even,
mean?
I have not
Right.
even looked at, I mean, there is no draft resolution
No,
for committee structure. There's just a memo.
Right.
I haven't even, no one in my office, and again, I was out 7 days, but there's no draft resolution.
Might have started one.
And the
but
feedback
nothing
I
that's
got from.
Obviously been
the
approved by you.
structure
Yeah.
is- It's a big process and they're feeling rushed by us in a way.
No, I put that in, I made it a rush.
As
Because
big
we-
as,
we
as big
couldn't
as
do
this
things
process
until
is, that is gonna be
I'm sorry.
as time consuming as this process is, the committee restructuring is gonna be 5 times the amount. of time.
Yeah.
There's no, and resources, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
You know, and the guy that heads up info systems, he didn't take any per diem at all. So that's the one that meets quarterly, he doesn't take anything. And I just think leave it at $75 and let the chips fall where they may. You should have a conscience. I guess if you don't meet, don't take it.
Yeah,
You know,
75?
so I can do 75. 75?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay.
Wow.
So what, just so I, is it standing committee chairperson or just committee chairperson?
I would just leave the committee chair.
Committee chair, 75 plus $75
Write in pencil to
Per
approve.
month?
Yes, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
month,
see,
yes.
and see
Yeah.
where the things fall for the
Okay.
other committee.
Okay.
Now, I'm just thinking of another thing, but, so now that person doesn't show up, and the vice chairman has to take over.
Mhm.
Does he get his money, or does he not,
Or she.
or she? Very hard.
And that does happen, that does happen, but
I'm just asking, yeah, it just, you know.
I don't think
know.
you
First
can
one to
legislate
year.
I
that,
don't.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not-
you're
Unless
banking
you
on
wanna-
everybody being.
Yeah, they're
pretty
changing what we're
happy.
unless you wanna
The
do.
vice chair
No,
is
it's his
just,
monthly.
the vice
Right,
chair is
but-
just there to act in case the chairman isn't there. Yes. go ahead.
Okay, so our wording is monthly salary,
Mhm.
this $6,000, I'm assuming is yearly, or is it
Yeah.
$6,000 a month?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, the wording we
Yeah,
have is
right.
monthly
Yeah,
salary.
that
Yeah,
should
that's
say-
wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
So are we doing this yearly salary now, or are we doing, what are we doing? Because we're kind of spitting numbers
Yeah,
for
we should.
both.
Yeah, good catch.
I was kind of, yeah,
Let's keep it monthly to keep it easy.
Mhm.
Okay, does anybody know
Right.
offhand what $6,000 divided by 12 is?
Good
500.
catch.
500.
500?
500 a month.
yeah.
So then the committee chairperson is monthly salary plus the
Yes.
$75 per
Good
month.
catch. Thank you. All right, we have time to do the chairperson.
Oh, we're getting through this.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is gonna get done.
Yeah, hammering it out.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave it to you. Tell me. what-
Well, I just
what do
think
you
that
think
He
is
gets $100 more than Allegheny, 15,402. Anybody go with that? He gets $100 more than
Yeah,
Allegheny.
well, you know, I know
Without
that
it.
sounds
Yeah.
pretty easy. Supervisor, but it just seems like I'm seeing 29,000 for Waukesha.
You're gonna
Shaw's
run
a
for
really
that
big-
one, aren't
Isn't that a
you?
really big
I
county?
don't know, I'm not quite
I would
sure.
say somewhere between 10 and 15
I
would
think
be.
it's high end.
Well,
I think
well,
Waukesha
Dane
is a
is,
very high.
It's a suburb of Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Dane is
no,
the-
no, but it's a rich, I think it's. a
I would,
very rich
I would
one.
only be comfortable somewhere between 10 to 15 extra. And that's,
54.
Dane is,
that's the only where I would be comfortable. I know
I
that some
know,
of the
I
other
know, I
ones,
know.
but he's been making 5. He does definitely deserve more than 5, maybe
my gosh.
double, for sure, 10. But you guys can tell me if you think more than 10.
how big is
I'd say
Marathon?
below 15.
I don't have
Or
my,
does anybody know how big Marathon is? I don't even know what the city
It's
is.
smaller than we
the
are.
county.
I would say the Marathon as a county is smaller than.
Who has a-
31,000 for that and
Wow.
33,000 for lacrosse. Dane, of course, I know it's not at all like us. 53 grand.
Oh, is that how much for the chairman?
Yeah, I just looked it
53?
up on another document
Yeah.
here.
So that's, for 15,000, that's
Population?
1250
Oh,
a
the
month.
populations,
here.
yes.
No, I,
There's
Yeah, you
definitely-
just-
it's- I have it on one of my original sheets.
wow, and this is,
So,
this is
That's
legit,
1250
right?
a
Yeah, they
month
got it. I got it from the committee.
What?
for 15,000.
15,000.
What's that now?
It's 1250 a month for 15,000.
15,4.
You're so funny.
Yeah, I just feel like comparing to Outagamie would be good and Ozaki and all of that, which is 15. I feel like there's, even though we're, 15,450. Yeah, 15,400 would be,
You know, Allegheny is 189,000 population and we're 170. So we're relatively in the same ballpark, you know?
Is that in addition to the 5,000 or 6,000?
What's it?
Oh, that's right. No, it's separate, right?
So
With-
15,
You
Right
doesn't
now,
get the-
it's, the way it's worded right now, it's monthly salary plus blank. So do you want to just do
Oh,
a
I
different
see, yeah.
salary for the chairperson? Or do the math and figure out what it's in addition to the 6,000?
does the chairman chair a committee? Any kind of committee?
I would
yeah.
not be the person to ask.
Legislative, isn't?
No,
No?
No,
chairs the county board,
What's that?
he chairs the county board, he has to sit with.
So
Mary
no
Ann.
other committees though. We're just looking at what to add.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
the question is it a monthly salary plus? Because you are a supervisor,
But,
or
but
is
it
it
would,
just a monthly salary?
but just a monthly salary, I always thought.
You mean he would get the 6,000 that he would earn automatically for being a supervisor,
Mhm.
plus another 15,400 for being chair.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
That's
yeah,
not what
that's
you're
too much,
saying.
yeah, that's.
I was just thinking just 15,000.
Yeah, so.
Would
monthly
you like
salary.
16 just be for
that,
for
okay, that would be
inflation?
1333, so 13, maybe 1,300 a month,
13.
something like that. And that would put him 10,000 plus the 6,000 that a normal supervisor would make, if we went by these numbers, that would put him at 1333.333333, 16. So you see my point, so would it be around number like 1,300 or 1,400 a month?
You wanna go
or
around?
just a month?
What's 1350 a month? Is that important for us to do that?
I'm just trying to keep that number straight. That's,
That would be 16.2.
I gotta throw myself in there again. I was at 12.5, but that's what I was thinking.
You are at
Because I was
12.
looking at all the numbers, you throw out the high ones and you come down, it's closer, I mean, and that's a big increase too, but 12.5. And you look at his 5 plus he gets per diem, but he's not on any committees, but he goes to everything. He's at IOC and everything there now. But I was thinking 12.5, that's right.
1,250 a month.
No, 12,500.
Oh, total.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
saying.
he wouldn't be getting any per diem with like
No,
a 16.2.
No, but I was just, again, just going by the averages, taking them out, knocking out, come out, try to.
Okay, so 12.5 for. Okay,
But he'd be giving up his 6 because he's supervisor, but he's doing more, twice as
Oh,
much
right.
stuff. you know?
That's 1,041 a month.
so that's
Just an
why,
idea.
okay. So like Supervisor Ellenberger was saying, 10,000 for just being the chairman, and then 6,000 because you're a supervisor, does that? And that would obviously be higher than the 12.
Right,
Does
You
that
can't-
make sense?
because right now it's not, now it's 5 instead of 1 per day, I guess, but he isn't on any committees, he doesn't do any of that, so he doesn't get paid for that. I don't think you get paid for the meetings too, do you? I mean, 5,000 to be the
He can-
chairman,
I mean,
does he
he
get
can pay
paid
for
75
meetings,
each
sure.
meeting too? I don't.
I can if I claim.
Okay,
on
I would
that.
claim, okay, so, okay,
And he goes to all of them.
where he does. yeah,
But I don't claim.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
He needs to acknowledge.
over there.
Supervisor.
What? He needs to
Chairman.
acknowledge.
Oh,
I just
yes,
wanted
go
to,
ahead.
again, not that I want, but I will tell you, even if Chairman Egan is not, as you've noticed, chairman of any committees, he is in regular contact with
Oh,
me.
that's- yeah.
I probably speak to him at least once a day, although recently, I was on vacation. And as you all indicated, he goes to a lot of meetings. He
Yes.
comes with me to judiciary. I mean, and as you know, that's a 6 o'clock meeting. I mean, all of you've
Mhm.
been there
Yeah.
too, so just to let you know. that.
Yeah,
Just
a lot behind the scenes.
You gotta remember, I might not be chairman next year, so.
Right.
You know, Marathon County's only got 138,000
Are you
people,
running?
and they pay
Mm-hmm.
31,000. So I mean, I think we should stay at the 15 as a minimum. I mean, Marathon's got 138,000 people and they pay $31,827. You know, I've seen Tom at least 3 of my meetings in the last month,
Would you go up to 16?
you know.
I would say $1,400 a month. Let's just go monthly and say 1,400.
I agree.
It's gonna go to the board anyway.
Is that the
Yeah, and they
six,
can
is
adjust
that
it
the
or
monthly
do it.
salary plus 14 or
That'd be
just straight
16.
14?
So 1,400 a month.
Just straight,
Yeah.
not plus
So
the monthly
take the word
salary.
plus out of that.
16.8.
I don't even know how much.
So what
that
did you
is.
say? It's 1,400 a month
Yes,
Period.
It'd be
for county board
16.
chair?
yes.
Okay.
And take the word plus out.
And you gotta take into account, I mean, now we know it's Tom, we want it to be Tom, but some person
Yeah,
get elected next year is gonna get that, and we have no idea if he'll go to any of the meetings. And I
Mhm.
don't know
Once
about the
again, we can vote
supervisor,
him out.
the board before, he sent a lot of people to his meetings, he didn't go to some meetings.
yeah, but
before.
Shiloh was kind of a big deal. He was, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
shouldering
yeah.
a lot.
But yeah, so it depends, you
Shouldering.
don't know what person you're gonna get that you're
Right.
doing this to,
Right.
so we hope we have the person we got, that's what we're trying to get, so I understand.
Are you okay with that?
Now we get
Yeah.
down to the last one, county board vice chairman. Let's move on from that. This is a training ground for the chairman. In many cases, looking at the vice chairman has always been very active as far as getting the word out. If you see something wrong, switching chairs, sometimes you have to switch a
Mhm.
chair
Mhm.
there.
What is it now?
15.
1,500.
And you-
A year.
Looks like Allegany's getting about half. The vice chair's getting about half what the chairman does. Then there's an outlier like Marathon, where the vice chair is getting a pittance of 9,000 compared to the 31,000. I mean, that seems kind of screwballish, but the rest of them almost seem to be getting about half. So, half,
So 700. a month. No pluses.
So they're only making 500 more than we are, vice chair,
No, you need $200 more.
$200 more.
Mhm.
And so the total would
Because-
be,
And they, but they are, they
8,000
are
a year.
county, they are on committees, aren't they, vice chair?
Mhm.
How many is?
Land and Water is chairman of the judiciary, not judiciary, legislative,
Yeah, I would say that too.
and I'm not sure what else he's on. Oh, highway. He's on 3 of them,
Okay, he's chair of
So-
one.
and he's chairman of legislative and land and water.
Okay.
So he would be making, if he was on this schedule with the 75 chair, he would be $775 a month. Because he's chairing 2 other ones. So I think that's more than appropriate, $700 a month.
You know, might as well
Wait,
come
wait a
from
minute,
me
wait a
last
minute,
year.
wait a minute.
Mhm.
Didn't you say the county board chair would just be a monthly, I'm sorry,
Yes.
county board
Yes.
vice chair, it's just 700. He does not get, that's it, right? There's no plus, it's 700 a month.
Well, unless he's a committee chairperson, and that's a
Last year-
separate.
Last year Chuck made $39,500 or $3,950. Which I
So yeah, the problem is
Not including mileage.
line
or
63 and 65
His
are the
actual
same.
pay was $39.50.
He's the one I see at meetings, so that's all I'm gonna say. So I would be okay with 700. Anybody?
I would agree with the 700 a month.
Yeah,
What's our
so I
year?
think it's
What
like
was it?
this.
700, 8,400 a year.
Oh,
That would be the half
just had to
that
change that.
Supervisor Powers was mentioning.
additional.
And that
so
would be
I'm
like
gonna
200
pass this
more
around and
than
make
you.
sure I'm
Well, if we've
understanding.
gone to 16 for the chair and half of that would be 8, right?
84,
Well, it's a little bit more because
about
we did a round number
8,400.
of 1,400.
700 a month.
Okay.
So you're not gonna. give
These are
him
the
money-
numbers
you're
that
not gonna
I
give him
wrote
money for
down.
Being a chairperson also.
That's monthly.
What's that?
I wrote 4,000.
You would,
I guess
you
if
would
the
make,
chair of- on the-
With
land
the
and water, you
wording,
probably get
does that make
something.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're chairing, you would get additional after that, right?
That's
That's a $75.
Yeah,
If
if he's chair,
Chair would be-
Okay.
absolutely. If he chairs, then he gets the $75. That's just,
All right,
but we don't know who's gonna be chair or what, you know.
Right.
This is
Well, it'll be next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets
That's if we
compensated.
get any
for
of
that.
this even through.
Oh, that'll be all right.
It's gonna be less, whatever this is.
We'll be cutting this down way.
Yeah, I mean, we need to
Start
start, we need to start a little higher because it's gonna be chopped.
When we get this done, so they.
I'm assuming.
I just wanna make sure I have the right.
And show it to them,
understanding.
show it to them.
Okay. So right now I have county board supervisor's monthly salary is $500. Committee chairperson is an additional $75 per month. Chairperson or county board chairperson's monthly salary, $1,400 a month. County board vice chairperson monthly salary, $700 a month. I've changed committee chairperson to additional $75 per month, not monthly salary plus. Because if you have the county board vice chairperson, who is also a committee chairperson, that language got messy.
Perfect.
So for committee chairperson, I just said additional
Mhm.
$75 per month,
Mhm.
not the monthly salary.
Yeah, that makes a lot more.
Is that,
It's clear.
did I understand what you guys were saying?
You
correct?
did,
Yeah.
perfect.
What did you rate? Wouldn't Chuck be like 150 additional? Because he's the chairman of 2 committees.
Yeah, so
Under
that
this.
would fall in
Well-
line with what she has there, right? 'Cause
Is
yours-
it per month per committee?
Because
Do
he is
you
a-
want me to
Yeah.
specify per
Yeah,
month per committee?
Because he is a legislative, so you're.
Somebody
that
had-
you can-
We should probably do that.
Oh, yeah, per month per committee.
Yeah, good call,
yeah,
right? 'Cause
yeah.
Well, monthly.
You
don't
guys decide, I'm just writing it
It's
down.
monthly,
Just
but
wanna make
it's
sure.
per committee. I mean, do we have to write that? Cause
Yeah, we
it
do
really
have to write
says
it.
You do have to write it. And what I think we should do, if it's okay with the
Yeah.
chairman, is, once you get done with this, Tori is gonna go and make a hard copy of what you've just reviewed, so that we can make sure it's, what we have down is what the committee or the task force wants.
So I have
Can I
a
see that one more
I have a
time?
question too. This is why it would be good to have the committee restructuring, Jacob Russo went on this board too, and you, but you guys have been to these meetings. Are they putting
I just
an
think that is
additional
important
layer
to
with
put
the
that
committee
down, because it
restructure that you
reiterates
can only be
per committee.
chairperson?
I had not been to
For
any
one-
committee
I
restructure
didn't hear
meetings.
that at all.
Because-
Right now.
Yeah.
Does anybody else wanna
But
see
the
this?
legislation committee is made up of all
Walk
three.
over.
So one of the chairmen has to have to-
So that has to be
Show it
done.
to
Do you wanna see
Karen.
this, what I have
I didn't
down, just to make sure I have
So the
it?
legislative committee is a committee of chair people, right?
Right.
So one of those have to have at least two. So, but my thing is you can only be chairperson for one committee.
on the-
And that's how we are now, right? So the only time when somebody could be a chairperson for two is if they're with the legislative committee.
So everybody on the legislative committee would get an additional.
No, just the chairperson.
Chair of the
But
legislative.
they're
We're all
made up
chairmen
of
or
chairs.
chairwomen,
Oh, yeah,
but one of us have to be the chair of that committee.
right.
So that's the only time when that would come into effect. So it's not like you have someone that's the chairperson of this, multiples of them.
Well, I
That's
don't,
the
is
only
that true? I
exception.
don't know if it's present, if,
Boards and
Let's-
commissions, is that what you're thinking in task force?
well, or not only that, couldn't I mean, it's probably highly unlikely, but couldn't the chair of P and F be the chair of judiciary? I mean, There's
No,
nothing
they
preventing it.
can't.
No,
It's in
There
the
is-
rules?
Mhm.
I'm sure you're gonna look now.
But if it's not, it should be.
But it's
Yeah,
okay.
It should be, it's right, yeah.
I mean, I think certainly practice wise, but I don't, you think it's in the rules? You all think it's in the
That's how
rules?
we voted.
Let me
That's
look.
what we've always
And,
done, let's
and,
put
but
it
the
that
bottom
way.
line is no matter how many they're chairing, they get 75 per if they're chairing. If they did all of them,
Yes.
they got 75 per.
Mhm.
You can only chair one
Wait
of
a
them,
second.
if they're legislative.
Yeah, so
That's what we
following
did.
the rules.
That's what we've always
Oh,
done.
here you're right. 18.6. No county board member shall permanently chair more than one committee. This rule shall not apply to the chair of the legislative committee. Chairman Egan, you were right. 18.6.
So reference to 18.6 on that.
We're good.
That's why
Wahoo.
he's the chairman.
That's why you get paid big bucks.
You chair the legislative, that's why you don't.
Okay.
Experience.
I
So
just
we're
wanna
down past
just go through with you to
65,
make sure it's worded
66.
right.
Additionally,
Oh, down there, okay.
75,
I can write per. if
I
you
would
want.
say
One that
per,
we found
additional
that
75
say
per
this.
month per committee. I would just, and why it's not
I
gonna
have a
fit.
question about that,
I
Mr.
know.
Chairman.
I'll try. It's always-
So
She
it
crossed
came
them
to
off.
my attention that
I can take some down.
one thing
for you.
I heard along the way
There you
is
go.
that sometimes there's a little
Yeah.
bit of a
I think that's better.
Do you want me to email this to Cassie and go get it
abuse of
printed?
it in a way.
Yeah, 'cause they're
This is
basically
my
done. So yeah, that's a
idea,
good
that
idea.
Sometimes people
Because I'm
will
gonna have to leave. in a
play
few
meals
minutes.
like on the way to the party board meeting or whatever that is.
Does she know?
I've heard that.
Cassie, that's coming?
Mhm.
No.
Is there ever
See.
kind of, is there, what,
Make
is there ever,
whatever.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay, is there ever a kind of an abuse of claiming meals?
Of what?
Claiming meals
Claiming meals?
for expenses, is there
No.
ever any kind of budgeting on
Not that
that?
I know
No,
of, no.
Julie's shaking her head no.
Oh, I'm sorry, must have been a dream I
I would,
had.
I would say no.
I'm
Okay, we had
sorry.
a couple of supervisors who, when we had
I'm
group
sorry.
events where we were supposed to like meet with high school kids.
Mhm.
And a meal was provided, and they chose to go, that was, our meal was provided and it was free.
Right.
And they chose, we're not gonna eat that crap, we're gonna go someplace else and claim the money.
Mhm.
And so they ate offsite, and so is that an abuse? Instead of eating with the
Yeah.
kids?
Just scratch that, I'm
Well,
sorry, it was just,
It's a good point, because in the budget, it could go all day.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, I'm sorry,
Don't
yeah.
we do that? And we claim meals for budget?
I never did, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's not abusing it though.
But Karen,
No.
you're right.
That's not
That's not
abusing it.
using it,
Yeah,
no, because you're there for
Regularly,
8 hours or so.
I don't know
Yeah, just
regularly, but I
skip
saw
that.
it.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Okay,
I would.
68 and 69, 70, 71, 72 are crossed out. Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay,
We fixed that.
everybody okay?
Hmm.
73 is taken out,
Yeah.
74 and half of 75 is taken out. Which leaves us with half of 75, 76, and 77.
Yeah, that's-
And we're adding into that, $50 and $75. And we're calling it not per diem, what did we decide to call it?
Stipend or?
Payment, $50 payment
That's
for
great.
a half a day meeting, 4 hours or less, but not more than $75 per day.
And that's for citizens.
Yes, that's for number 10, non-supervisors.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 78,
Need to define.
take that out.
We don't need that
We're not
now.
gonna do- we
Which
don't
number
need
we're
that.
thinking of?
Line 78.
Oh,
after
okay.
Fine
the
per
bottom,
diem.
Need to
77,
define.
78, and all those, all the way down to,
What's the 79 through Island? What is those? What are those? Those are just saying that we're not looking at that right now.
yes.
Well, I know, I think
Yeah.
the thought behind this was that everybody, non-supervisors, should be treated equally. And unfortunately, there were boards or committees here that were not referenced. So an argument could be made, I'm sorry, you're not on this, so you can't be, you know,
Okay.
compensated. But now with the way the language is, and Tori is getting hard copies of what you all just did, so you can look at it. I think that was the purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anything we're missing here?
Again, the physical impact, you know what that is?
Fiscal?
That's gonna be, right, that's gotta be on
For
there
me to figure it
Yeah,
out
good
real
point.
quick.
with all this.
Well,
change.
Yeah, who does that? Who does that? Does finance do that?
Mike does.
Mike Collar
Mike
does.
Collar does
Does
it.
it?
I
Mike
can
Collar
real
does
quick if you
I'm sorry,
want.
Why is,
Mike Collar.
Okay,
why
or
isn't he
Paul,
here?
Right?
okay.
Yeah,
She can figure up something
Just a-
approximate
Yeah, ballpark.
ballpark. Yeah.
I'll give you the exact numbers. in just a second.
Mike Collar does all the fiscal
Well, no,
impacts.
we can't do the exact, because we don't know how many committees, so I'll just say,
Well, he'll correct whatever you say, but you.
but, okay, so how many committees do I put down for $75? You see where I'm,
Well, you
should I
didn't,
just say 20?
well, didn't you just say there were 13 standing and 16?
Just meet with him.
So should you do 29?
I'll do 29.
It's the worst case scenario. I mean,
Yeah. That's,
Yeah,
whatever. yeah.
do the worst case.
How much? Yeah.
Oh, wait, what am I doing here?
Ooh, he's good at that.
Oh,
Wait,
Huh?
What,
I don't know if you would do all 29.
so what should we do?
Because the-
29, that's,
She knows, let's ask
Well,
her.
no, no, because the 29 includes the standing committees, which are only supervisors. The 16 standing committees are only county board
I'll just give you
supervisors.
16
13.
then.
Yeah,
13.
13
13
standing. You just said
standing,
16.
sorry,
Yeah,
but, and there's
13.
16,
So she should
committee.
only do 16?
yeah.
so that'll lower it. That's always good.
huh.
Okay.
Water real quick, can I? Drink of water.
Yes.
And you should all know that, so Tori's key is, anything in red is changed. Anything red that is underlined was changed at today's meeting. You'll see. Anything underlined in red.
Dan, the clerk's office wants to talk to you after this meeting.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Really?
She has a question.
Okay, okay.
Okay, you ready for the number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
252,900. That
And what
is
is it now?
200,
252.
Double.
It's double.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so that's gonna be,
125 and 23.
We're close to 50/50.
Mhm.
That's the number,
It's on the
so I
study.
had 216,000 for the original, for the supervisors, 11,700 for the 13 standing committees, 16,800 for the chair, and 8,400 for the vice chair.
So- I see a change.
When you present this, GPS, I would give them a copy of
take this.
it, so they can see that's what we use to reference.
You really did.
You can- She just has a question on your per diem thing.
I didn't go to a meeting, so I didn't come.
Yeah, that's back, they say shut back on to support that.
Yeah, not
This
that.
is in fall.
It's,
Yeah,
so,
it looks like it's a big increase, but all, we're still. on the
Julie,
low
what
end
did you
of-
come up with?
Can it be part of the, whatever this is?
You,
ordinance?
you said 252,900. The current budget is 125 for the elected officials and 23, which is 148,000 total for,
Right, yeah.
if you say compensation, that's without mileage and,
So, right, it's 148.
yes.
So does our 252 include
No.
citizen? Okay. What was this last one? Is that 8,400?
8,400, sorry.
Betsy,
For,
it would include the citizen, isn't that what you, when you went down to the 16 standing committees?
Well, I did not add citizen stuff in there. I just did 13 standing committees, right? And I just did
Okay, I go-
chairperson, and that
Okay.
may not be,
Okay.
that number may be half too at some
Okay,
point.
so it could increase if you include the salary, or not, I'm not gonna say salary, the stipend or whatever for the citizen members.
Oh, yeah, that
Then-
could be an
so that
additional
does not-
23,000
Yeah,
or
okay,
20,000. I think we've
Okay.
only hit 11,000 on in the past, or 12,000. So
Yep.
that could go up.
okay, so,
This is just the numbers that, yeah,
Yeah.
and that chairperson, committee chairperson could definitely go down depending on what the restructuring does, so. That could actually go down to half. I mean, this isn't, I mean, this is probably not gonna pass this way, so we're probably gonna, I mean, this is a typical negotiation, you pull something out and then it's gonna get whittled for sure. I'm assuming, maybe not, I mean, I don't know, we don't know. Who knows?
So just looking at this new version, on line 22, since your task force said there will not be supplementary compensation in terms of an annual salary and per diem, it should, on line 22, do you see it should be through, not J, or it should be through
Yeah, that's what
I,
that's right.
because you're not going to include supplementary compensation, okay?
Yes.
So it should just be through I.
Not J.
No, because J was the board in establishing an annual salary may enact an ordinance providing for a per diem for all committee meetings attended, and you guys didn't want to do that. So it's just
Okay.
gonna be
Correct.
F through I. Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know where we're at right now.
Okay.
Well, the new
Question
thing she
for
just
you,
handed out, and
Line,
it's line 22.
Marianne. Can this document be part of the ordinance
So it would be to,
no.
as an amendment, just,
Aye.
there is just a
Okay.
document
Well, you can certainly
As an
include it
attachment.
as an attachment.
attachment
That's without.
Yeah,
in the ordinance, and it would.
not in
state
the, or
right-
attached to the, or
Attachment to the.
yeah. You know
okay.
how there's a packet and
Because this
typically
is-
you have an
yeah.
agenda item report, and I mean, you don't have that right now,
Yeah.
but you can say, here's my draft, here's our draft ordinance,
Mhm.
and this is the material that we received
Yes,
and considered
yes,
when we came up with these numbers.
okay, I would like to have that in there.
Okay, so I should have, we have, oh, but I wrote on mine. You have a clean copy?
Where the blanks are,
Yeah.
that you say requested
Mhm.
3 times or something like that.
You mean
No
like Dane
response.
County or
So
Milwaukee?
say, what do you do, just cross that out?
Yeah,
because
but
It's too low, so.
I do have updates on Dane, it's 53,000.
Even,
Yeah, it's on this other form that we received.
because I wrote down 53, but I left it.
I don't know who
That's
gave
a-
that to me on the committee.
That's mine, that's an old one, yeah.
But
So
that-
should you
that-
include that too, in addition to this? You want to include that, or is that going to make it more complicated?
That's more complicated.
But we could update
They're
this
gonna
with
ask for
this.
Oh, that's possible.
I mean, I
And
have
then does
the-
it-
But
does your
she,
thing
she
say-
got it right directly from the horse's mouth, I didn't, I took
You
it
have what
from,
Milwaukee is?
Yeah, we can have that.
what I took it from was,
they're gonna ask for all this, so
Yeah.
whatever we can give
so,
them,
yeah, I'd
more
like to have this be
information.
a part of that.
And then I had all this too. Remember this form that somebody gave us on the form,
Yeah.
on the committee?
Okay, well, it's blank for the Milwaukee, okay.
Milwaukee,
Chairman's salary is blank, right?
uh, probably I'm gonna just double check another one. Yeah, the Milwaukee's all blank,
I don't like this one.
but I had Door County,
We don't have no one.
so, okay. I mean, we have data on Door. Do we
Yeah.
want Door?
I don't think so.
And then we have an update on, and okay, that's it,
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
found.
One of the things, just talk about this, I was questioning myself about, what do other, I had somebody call me that they were retiring and they were on a a village board. And said, well, what does it pay here? And I gave him the numbers about what it was, and what I saw on that, and said, oh my gosh, that's way too low. I'm not gonna consider that, that's too much work. That's way too low. So I checked out on it, and for the city of Neenah, and this is starting in 2018, they are paying for the common council, of which there are 9 of them, $5,280. It may be now, this was in 2018, that's the only thing I could find. So, yeah, it could very well be. So you might find that in your local areas, what's your,
Well, the public airline, most of them make between 14 and 25.
you might want to do
Do I
that.
have to add anything
School board is
else here?
3,500 of
When-
Nina. And
Mike is
we're
gonna
a
have
half
to look
of
at that.
So I
Because we
just
don't,
leave this
you
blank?
just leave, well, who did the
Okay.
252? They did.
They just do.
Say committee calculated approximately, yeah. Or task force. I keep saying
Right now
committee,
it is.
task force.
Suggestion, excuse me, suggestion,
Sorry.
that I'd like to have every member of the committee do this. Look at your local jurisdiction, wherever you are, your village, city, town, whatever it is, and find out what they're paying their common council. Okay, you suggested something else. Oh, the common council and the chairman.
Town chairman.
Yeah, just
Most
to
of
have
them
that
make between 14
information,
and
and
25.
that would be something that when this does come to the board, I would like to have every one of you guys speak up on it. On that, to say, okay, in my chairman, in my area of Fox Crossing or wherever it is, this is what the chairman makes there. This is what it is. This is what the population is, and this is what their budget, their total budget is, how many millions of dollars it is. And just, okay, just be prepared to do that, and that'll probably be July meeting, so just start thinking about it, gather the materials, okay?
That's a really, I'm sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I was gonna say that's a really good idea, because I am sure you're gonna get peppered with a lot
Oh, yeah.
of questions.
Yeah, right.
And so you want to get as much information as you can.
Not only is it, we want to be able to match it to other counties, but here, just in my own local jurisdiction, they're making, you say $6,500.
confirming
They
it,
have,
yeah.
yeah, they have less money to worry about. We're board chairman, we're board members in a company for $190 million that we are managing. And everything else that goes along with that, all the restrictions and things that were zoning issues, we're doing that. You never get that, $190 million corporation be on the board, I want more than that. Yes, go ahead.
I just remember, the last meeting Supervisor Eisen brought up a concern, kind of an objection or whatever regarding, we'll get to work on it. He said something about how we needed to find out what, self-governing, does anybody remember what he was asking about? He said self-governing, counties. He asked something specific, and I meant to try to research that.
We have it
Self-governing,
somewhere.
self-organized.
He was asking about self-governing, and he says, we need, to-
It's self-organized is what it's.
I mean,
Yeah.
self-organized.
Is that what he asked?
That's,
Okay,
he
all
asked
right.
something about how are they doing such and such, or what are they doing, or whatever. You guys need to be working on that. Does anybody remember
I'm not
what?
sure if that's relevant.
I
because
thought it
we've
was
already
Thing
approved
you
it.
I
had.
thought it was Fond du Lac. He said we had
I
a
don't
meeting with
remember
them just recently,
Well,
Yeah,
and they didn't do it, and something. like
Oh, I
that.
did say.
okay,
Huh?
well, that was just a concern. I know that if he,
Was it?
What was it?
It was Fond du Lac, because he said they just had a meeting with them, they came and talked to them, and they had talked about it, and
okay.
they, I'm sorry.
okay, all right.
Wait a
That's
second,
all.
no, we're not gonna get to discuss payments for attending additional committee meetings, Zoom meetings. I think we've touched on all these things. Goals for annual meeting budget presentations, suggestions for items to discuss at the next meeting. Set next meeting date.
Are we gonna vote on what we just did?
At that time, you're shaking your head yes.
Yes, now the only thing is you're gonna have to have another meeting regarding the resolution that we've got a draft regarding the rules.
All right.
We can't do it today.
No, I haven't, no.
I'm not prepared.
No,
What
I
have you
mean,
been doing over there?
no, I mean, but should
I
we
haven't
vote
had
on
my
what we just did? Yes,
No.
yes,
What, again?
yeah, why can't we? Because
Okay. Then we have,
I would like to make an amendment, can I say it? Or a resolution.
I have-
I would like
Amendment or
to-
motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended
This-
ordinance
This document right here,
that has just been
we can do that.
printed with I,
Removed.
No.
No,
I and J,
J
J removed.
removed, J crossed out where it says I or J, and have J crossed out. And all the other changes, that are on there.
I will second that.
You have it, Joe?
We don't have any discussion.
Okay, we have a vote on the table. Any questions, want comments, discussion? From anybody? Anybody? All in favor?
I,
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
Opposed?
He said I do.
Very good. Thank you.
And we have a date for the next, or is it the next
Yes.
meeting? Yep.
Yeah. Your calendars out, folks. Oh, that's right.
Date.
Okay, now,
so
in
when,
June.
when does JPS have to have their agenda done? Ready?
1 week
it's-
before, isn't it?
It's.
They have to get their material to us 2 weeks before.
Yes, it's Tuesday, not a week.
So if it's July 3rd, they have to get, everybody has to get their materials to me by the 19th of June.
19th of June. So let's go a week ahead of that, the 12th of June is a Monday.
I'll be gone the whole last week of June.
Okay. that
Monday would
doesn't
work
affect
good.
it then.
The
So
12th,
go to the
12th of
12th.
June.
okay.
Any objection? 12th of June?
Wait a minute.
Again at
Let's see,
noon?
do we have
Yeah,
anything?
noon.
Wait a minute, is
Sure.
Kathy gone?
Kathy's gone on the 12th,
I have something.
For that.
Yeah.
Can we do it
and then
early
Hannah's gone there.
by any chance?
I'm-
I don't know about, it depends on you guys. If we
yeah.
could do it really, really early, that would be awesome. I'm leaving that night to
You
go to
can't.
Detroit.
I can't, I have meetings already scheduled. I can do 12
Okay.
anytime in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
After the visa, but it'd be better to do.
I'll just leave
You'll make it?
later. Yeah, I'm going to Michigan that evening, so.
Afternoon being.
It can-
4
Well, I
o'clock
can do
or-
it.
You can't do 11, can you?
No, because this last meeting goes till 11:30.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll make it work.
12 is good for me.
Yeah.
12,
Yeah.
you're okay with that? Corinne?
Yeah,
12?
yeah.
12 o'clock on the.
Monday the
12th.
12th. Got it.
What I'm seeing on my calendar is the committee is meeting from 9 till noon on that same day.
So
Which
what is
committee?
it?
Restructure?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
12?
Perfect.
yes,
How are you gonna eat?
it don't matter.
Oh,
It
is that
doesn't
before
matter. I
ours?
shouldn't say it.
Yeah, 9 to 12 before.
Don't get done early.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys,
Okay.
I've got to
Motion
run.
to
Yeah,
adjourn.
thank you.
Anybody?
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Marianne. Thank you, Tori.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you all.
I am seeing the cure on the 13th.
3 o'clock.
It is